Because of CrossFit, I've been able to become a mom, and that's not something I ever expected to do. Every endometriosis diagnosis is different, but there was a time in my life where it was really bad. I couldn't bring groceries in without being in pain. I couldn't hold my husband's hand without triggering chronic nerve pain, and I gave up that dream of becoming a mom because I knew that with endometriosis I was going to struggle with fertility and didn't want to risk being that kind of mom that wasn't present physically for my daughter when those inflammation flare-ups happen. And me and my husband went through the process of grieving and accepting that. The main priority was like my quality of life and can I manage the inflammation and not be in pain. I actually started CrossFit as like a last resort because the other options of surgery or narcotics, it just didn't sound like a viable solution for me without accepting some of the long-term damage that would come with that. And so just decided, you know what, I'm just going to try CrossFit and see what can be done. And it slowly helped build up a lot of strength and helped manage my anxiety and my hormones. Little did I know, as I was improving my health over the years, that my body was going to become fit enough to become pregnant. It made it possible for me to have her, because here she is.
Bam, we're live. Can you guys hear me okay? I never trust this roadcaster first thing in the morning. Good morning, Barry. Good morning. Kenneth, good morning. Edging, good morning. Natalie, good morning. Bring on the baby. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What a good-looking baby Paige Powers has. Her and her husband. Ken Walters, I have a jet lag from watching Jake's first show at 3 a.m. I know. He mentioned you in the show that you were in the comments. That's really cool that you stayed up and watched it. I just watched the first probably 35 minutes of it this morning. Yeah, maybe 45 minutes. Really good. Once it got going, it got really good. For a first show to do live, crazy. I can't believe I didn't even think about that. It took me forever to go live. Going live is, I mean, not anymore, but now it's like a blessing. But before it was so unsettling. I'm so stoked on Jake. It really, there was a moment when the probably like 10 minutes in, Rich Froning's name comes up, and Jake's so passionate about the subject, he just let loose, and it was good to go. Hold on, I have to stretch my jaw out. I'm having trouble talking this morning. My jaw's not responding. You think it was that workout I did yesterday? I actually laughed. You know when someone writes a comment and you put LOL, but you didn't really laugh, but it's just funny, so you write back LOL or you put the smiley face or something. But there was actually a comment in YouTube this morning that I actually laughed. Someone wrote, hey, if you, because I posted my workout 25.1. Not because I wanted to, but because you got a link to it or something when you submit your score. Oh shit, I better submit my score. Anyway, two things about it. When I finished that workout, I thought my score was 172, but I didn't tell anyone my score except I think I told two people. I told my wife. Well, I told three people. I told my wife, I told Dave, and then I told the dudes on the media team, on the CrossFit media team, and on the locker room media team. And so I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But I didn't tell anyone because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure, like, if maybe, like, for all I knew, I skipped around like 12 or 15 or 18. I didn't know what the fuck was going on when I was doing the workout. Like literally 2 minutes in, it was like 2 minutes of fun and then 13 minutes of like, oh shit. You guys know you did it. And so then I put the video up. Oh, so then I told Dave my score. I'm like, hey, dude, I got 172. And he goes, I don't think so, dude. And I'm like, yeah, I did. I was in the blah, blah, blah. I did this many blah, 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 or whatever I said to him. He's like, okay, something seems wrong. He goes, did you rest during the workout? I'm like, yeah, I took probably like 5 or 10 5-second rests. It's like, dude, that score doesn't sound possible for you. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. And then he texted me back later and he's like, hey, I redid okay. So he didn't get whatever score I told him I got, 172 or 170. His score was less than that. I can't remember what it was. He's like, damn, you beat me. So then a few hours later, he's like, hey, dude, I redid the workout. and whatever he got beat 172. I was like, damn, good job, dude. Well, then I put that video up and I start reading through the comments, and everyone's like, good job, Sevy, you got 150. I'm like, oh shit. I'm so glad. I didn't say my score on the show I did yesterday, right? I don't think I did. And God, I'm so glad I didn't say it. I almost put the score in the title. I'm glad I didn't do that either. It made me look like a jackass. But anyway, what's crazy is Bryson predicted I think I would get 150. I think I got 150 right on the nose. But what's funny is the comment someone put in there that I actually fucking had to put my phone down and started laughing this morning was someone put, hey, if you play this video at 2 times speed, it looks like a CrossFit workout. And I've been told that since day one. I remember Tony Bunning's like, damn, dude, you are the slowest CrossFitter. I was thinking to myself, really? I mean, to me, it seems like I think I'm moving fast. Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you and the baby.
It's okay. She'll sleep through anything.
Paige Powers.
Hello.
What's up,
how are
girl?
you?
Good. I'm great. Dude, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. She's been great.
You got one. You got a human.
Yeah, I got a tiny human.
Paige, what's the baby's name?
Oakley and Rogers.
Oakley and Rogers. Girl.
Yes.
And tell me about the name. How'd you get the name Oakley?
Oakley, honestly, Dalton and I just looked at literally 2 days after we found out we were expecting. We were looking at lists of names to kind of distract us from everything.
Yeah.
And we came up with a girl name and a boy name, and it just stuck throughout the whole thing. And then when we found out it was a girl, we started calling her Oakley, so it kind of just stuck. And then Anne is my mom's middle name and my Grammy's middle name, so a little family tie there.
And when you say you came up with it, like, were you looking through a book, or was he like, Dalton, like, my favorite tree is an oak tree, or were you like, hey, my mom had me under an oak tree? Like, how do you get that name?
No, we were literally just like looking at lists online, just like looked up girl names and went through the list, and we just really liked Oakley.
Yeah. And then throughout the pregnancy, are you oh, Dalton, Oakley's kicking?
Yeah.
And so then it kind of sticks, right? Or tell me.
Yeah, for a while, I guess once we could feel her kicking, we already knew the gender, but for a while, we knew the gender, I want to say for a month or a month and a half before our family knew, because we were waiting to do a gender reveal, so I had to intentionally call her it instead of she. So that was hard. And then literally, I think it was the day before, the day of, I let it slip to my mom. I was on the phone with her, and I was like, oh, yeah, I felt her moving. And I was like, oh, no. She was you did not just spoil it. I was like, yep, I did.
If you let it slip to anyone, mom's the person to let it slip to.
Yeah.
Paige, how old are you?
22 now.
22. Did you always want a baby? Did you know? These days, 22 seems pretty young.
Yeah. I've always wanted kids. And I remember even talking with Dalton whenever we first started dating, I was like, I really feel called to become a mother someday. Obviously we didn't, plan for it to be this soon. But she's just been the biggest blessing. I'm so grateful that, I can have a kid. And for a while I felt like it was either having a kid or competing in CrossFit, and I couldn't do both. And I'm so grateful I get the chance to figure out how to do both of them together.
Yeah. I'm projecting on you, but you're going to be able to do it. Our first baby, we were just my wife and I were tripping. We were double your age when we had our first kid, but we just bring the kid everywhere. It's just like a dog. Once you just accept it, you know what I mean? And still to this day, my kids are 8 and 10, and it's just like that. We don't send them to school or nothing. They're just they're just like dogs. They have their routine. They do their little bit of school in the morning, you know what I mean? And then they have to be run outside, and then they have to be, you know what I mean? They have to be potty trained and
Get their energy out. Yeah.
yeah, they just have to be taught to be good dogs, and then you can just bring them everywhere, and then their whole education is going to be I mean, I mean this in all seriousness. Your kid is going to learn how to add and subtract faster than any other kid you know, because they're going to be at the gym. I noticed that about Avi. And they just start counting reps, and they hear you counting, and you're like, holy shit, the human brain's crazy.
Yeah.
All that shit just develops everywhere around them.
Yeah. I feel like she's also used to like gym noises right now too. Probably, I mean, I don't know if it has anything to do with me working out the whole pregnancy, but we took her to the gym, I want to say 4 days after birth. And granted, I was just walking around just so I could get out of the house because it was freezing cold. But there was barbells dropping, music playing, and she was just passed out. So she's definitely going to be very friendly with that environment.
Yeah, I mean, think she's heard a barbell drop before she came out 3,000 times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Even before she came out. Yeah, that's what we would do. We just put the baby, we took the baby, put it in a little stroller at the gym. We went to like some really like mom and pop gym, and every day we just took the baby there and just put it right next to the platform. And you just learn, you know, I was watching this great video Tia made the other day. Here's the fittest woman who's ever walked on planet Earth, and she's doing push-ups, and then her baby interrupts her, and she's so smart. She already has another push-up, you know, like area set up. She was doing push-ups on parallettes. She abandons the one she's on, lets her kid have it, and comes over to hers.
Yeah.
The new one. It's like, dude, it's so doable. But you got to be in the right mindset. You can't be like, you know, sometimes you're working out and you're like, hey, fuck you, kid, get back. I need 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. Look at her daughter comes over and Tia just pivots. She's already got the other one set up.
Yeah, she knows she's gonna steal that herself. Yeah, I've definitely got to experience that with Trice, Lakeland, and Violet, all of Rich's kids, and he'd have like another rower set up if we were doing a rowing workout because they'd want to steal his rower.
Right. Yeah, the rower they love. They immediately go. Yeah, I don't have 2 rowers, but that's happened to me many times. I just push them off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, child. That's awesome. And so tell me about finding out you were pregnant. I remember it can be definitely not with the first child, but with the second, when my wife had twins, the first 24 hours were like, oh shit. Like,
yeah.
Were you like, oh shit?
Yeah. For probably, I mean, for a while we were shocked. Definitely the first day was our toughest day. There was a lot of tears. I mean, a lot of, there was eventually a lot of joy just because, like I said earlier, I have always wanted to be a mom, and same for Dalton. Like, he did want to have kids. Obviously, just like, I think the timing wise scared us a bit because, for timing perspective, we found out the weekend of semifinals. So he was competing on a team. Obviously, I wasn't competing because of the whole quarterfinals Tabasco. But
yep. For those of you who don't know, Paige is a guaranteed to go to the games. Not guaranteed by her, but by us, because we know how good she is and how hard she works. And there was let's call it a judging debacle. Was that 2 years ago?
No,
a year and a half ago. That was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And Paige would have gone to the games. Everyone expected her to go to the games. She's, in my words, not Paige's words, she's better than, she's a top 10 athlete at the games. And because of some judging issues, she didn't make it to the games last year. So it was everyone, of all the people who didn't make it to the games, you were the one that was like, ooh, shit. Maybe there is something wrong.
Yeah, it was already like a rough time. And I also, I was sitting in 5th, and then I got knocked down to 105th in the region. So it was that was definitely tough. I was like, dang, I'm definitely, fit enough to be there. And it was kind of confirmation that it's the fittest that I've ever been. And then that all happened. Then I went to coach Dalton's team. He was on the second
What did you get at the games the year before?
10th.
Okay, so 10th the year before, and then going into the regionals, you're like, holy shit, I feel good. This is the best I ever felt. And then there was the scoring debacle, and you didn't make it. So you're already like, what the?
Yeah.
And you handled it really well, by the way. It was very interesting watching all the different athletes handled it. You handled it in a very unique way. You stayed pretty quiet about it for a long time, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, I think definitely looking back now, I had the perspective very early on that, you know, everything happens for a reason. There was a greater reason to it. But, you know, now it totally makes sense. You know, like semifinals, I would have been competing pregnant. Well, I would have been very early on, but then I probably wouldn't even be able to compete at the games because I was so sick my first trimester. I was barely in the gym, barely able to do anything. So, I mean, it all worked out for a greater reason. I'm grateful that I can look back now and, you know, I got this little bundle of joy that came out of it. But yeah, it was like,
so you find out you're pregnant and you're like, oh shit. Were you like, oh shit, how old is Dalton?
he's 25, turning 26 this year.
Yeah, were you guys like, oh, because even at 45 or whenever I had my first kid, I was like, oh shit, how are we gonna do this? Were you like, oh shit, we're 22, we're 25, what are we doing?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was like for me, it was the uncertainty of like, you know, CrossFit's my job, and now I'm pregnant, and now I'm like, what if all my sponsors drop me? Like, what if I'm not making income? Like, am I gonna have to get a full-time job? And then for Dalton, like, he's in school full-time, and then he's also training, and then he also works at Texas Roadhouse. So he's already like very, very busy before the kid came, and he's like, do I have to drop everything and, you know, get a full-time job at the fire station? He's like, you know, I'm willing to do that if that's what I need to do. So there was a lot of that uncertainty for probably like a good month. And then, you know, things kind of just settled down where we're like, you know what, like you're a year away from graduating from your degree, so you keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna figure it out. I kind of came up with this idea to like start a YouTube channel, which I only ended up putting out like 4 or 5 videos. But I was like, maybe that's something that can, you know, help me stay busy in this time and learn something new. And also like maybe bring more of a audience to like this new shift of like my previous platform was only fitness, and now it's like fitness and motherhood and pregnancy and all that good stuff. So
you probably know the story of Miranda and Julian. They were going to start an online fitness program. She got pregnant. She thought to herself, who the fuck's going to want to see this beautiful woman get pregnant and have a baby? They're coming here like because of my body and to work out. I'm projecting a little bit. She didn't say exactly like that, but that's what I'm reading between the lines. And then she got pregnant, but they just moved forward with their plan and still did it. And now they're filthy rich.
Yeah.
And she actually says that having the baby was actually that drew even more people into her.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, I think for me, it's drawn like a different crowd. And even just like looking statistics wise, like looking at my insights, it went from like 65% male to now it's 65% female.
Oh, I fucking love that. I love that.
Me too. I'm like, that's probably that. You know, I mean, there was definitely a lot of comments from the males of just like dumb comments, but I'm like,
boys really like
anyway.
hot young girls working out barely clothed. It's just gonna be it's just we just like that. I don't know what's wrong with us, but
yeah,
but we're just like
now they know I'm taken, so
they don't care. Or shit, let me be a little more accountable. We don't care. So when so you said there was uncertainty. My guess is you don't ever solve the uncertainty. Like I'm guessing there's like stages to it. How are we going to solve this uncertainty? You're making a plan, and then finally you're like, fuck it. That's not an option to solve the uncertainty. I guess I'm just going to have to accept the uncertainty. And I think I kind of heard you say that after a month, you're like, all right, we're just going to accept the uncertainty.
Yeah, pretty much. It was just like kind of just throwing it out there and just being okay with this uncertainty, which is, you know, it's like scary because you want to have the safety of being able to provide for your kid. I think that's what I was most worried about, is that, you know, February was going to roll around and we weren't, I don't know. I think it's just maybe a money thing. Like, I
Yeah,
was
like yeah.
worried that we wouldn't have enough money to be able to provide for her. And I just had to like let that go. And I think a lot of it was just like praying it away, because God's always provided for us in the past. So why wouldn't He continue to provide for us now? So,
How did Dalton handle it? When I lost my job at CrossFit, and my wife, we both got let go the same day. I remember I was at the skate park and I came home and I looked at my wife and I said, "Hey, no matter what, I don't want to lose this house. Would you move into a van with me and the 3 boys so that we could rent the house out and just keep the house? Because I don't ever want to lose the house." And my wife looked at me and she goes, "Yeah, I'll do whatever you want." I was like, "Oh." And for like just that one thing just lifted this like cloud off of me.
Yeah, absolutely.
How was and that was really nice, right? We were on the same team. How did you was there any dangers of like this stress breaking you guys apart, or how did you and Dalton handle it so you stayed together on the same team?
I mean, honestly, like for him, like a big thing was like we both didn't want to give up our dreams in CrossFit. And I think for him, once he like got the confirmation of like, you're gonna be busy and it's gonna be really, really hard, but like I'm here to support you. Our daughter's gonna support you, you know, eventually. Like I want her to watch her dad compete, you know? And like my family's here to support us. I think once we got like everybody on board and on the same page, it lifted a lot of stress off of him. And you know, it's tough because he's definitely the busiest of the 3 of us. Like I have this great opportunity where like I got to rest a lot during my pregnancy. I got to, you know, I didn't have this full-time job that I had to show up from 9 to 5 every day. I could, you know, still go to the gym, and like a lot of it was, you know, being at home, figuring out the YouTube stuff. And be like the last month I pretty much just like rested a lot. I'd work out once. But him on the other hand, he stayed like insanely busy the whole time, and like he did have to pick up another shift or 2 at times per week at Texas Roadhouse, which, you know, obviously isn't ideal.
What is
But
that? That's a restaurant?
Texas Roadhouse,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the best restaurant. Have you never been?
No, I don't think so.
It's like pure American.
Okay.
If you
It's a
want,
I
if you
picture
want,
it like a steakhouse, like a big
yeah,
steakhouse that's got like a bar in the middle, and like that's how I
that's
picture it.
exactly it. Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of like Logan's Roadhouse, Outback Steakhouse,
Okay.
but it's
Okay.
better.
I don't know if we have those in California, Texas
Oh,
Roadhouse.
really?
I don't know. I haven't seen one.
Okay, well, Google it, and if you find one, you need to go.
Go inside. Okay. So
Yeah,
so he's working extra hard there, and you're so he felt the weight of it. He
yeah,
manned up. He's like, "Oh shit, this is like
for
it's
yeah, yeah. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. I feel like I can't speak on his behalf if like all the stress ever just like faded away, or at what point it did. But I mean, he just stepped up and, you know, he handled it. And he still is. He's still stepping up, and you know, it's like he's had to take time away from the gym to be with us too. Um, so
we're pretty simple creatures. It's funny, man. If we just get a couple attaboys, or like what you're saying, if you just like if he hears you say, "Hey, he stepped up," or "He's working hard," like for us, it's like, all right. Like
yeah,
we're really simple when it comes to our it's trippy. Men really want to please their wives. Like they really and maybe if you're not getting that, it's because you haven't given your husband enough accolades. But we just need like to be pet and like pat on the head, dude. You're killing. Like
yeah,
you're saying, and we'll be like, oh shit, okay, and,
yeah.
and we go.
I try to be intentional about that because I'm kind of the opposite. Like I don't really ever need like words. I guess when we talk about like love languages, like words of affirmation would definitely be one of his. So I try to be intentional about, I'm thinking it. Like I think it all the time, but sometimes I don't express it. So sometimes I'm just like, "Hey babe, you're doing great." And he's like, "Really? Thank you." Like,
Yeah. Oh
that's
man, that'll get us through like the next week.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll hold that. It's crazy. My wife says that sometimes my wife will say something to me, and I'll bring it back up later, like a week later, and she'll look at me. She goes, "I knew that stuck."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, "Oh, she even knows." Like, it's like getting a star. She puts a gold star on me, and I'm just like, "All right, I'll,
Yeah.
I'll wear that around for a little while."
Yeah.
So you guys get pregnant. You're like, okay. And did you guys live together at the time?
No. No,
So
he moved
was that,
like
did you
right
start
after.
planning all of that?
Yeah. Well, so it actually worked out to where he was moving to Cookville right around that time. And he was going to move into one of his friends' old places that he was moving out of. I was like, instead of moving in there, just move in with me. And we were living in a townhouse at the time. Um, and so he just moved in, and I mean, I think it helped too, like financially, that took a bit of stress off. So it wasn't like he was dumping money into rent one place and I was dumping money into rent another place. We just, shared the responsibilities there. And that is obviously like, we're going to need to be together to raise a baby together. So it was definitely, I mean, it was really like early into our relationship, which was kind of scary to like live together.
Mhm.
But I don't know, we kind of just like threw ourselves into it. And I mean, I love living with him and I think he loves living with me. So it really worked out.
Yeah, I love to hear that. And then when someone lives with you, there's a whole nother level of like letting go, right? I mean, they see everything. They see when you forget to flush the toilet. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they know your bowel movements. They know like everything.
We had a 2 level and I'd have to tell him to stay downstairs whenever I'd have to take a poop.
And I'm guessing since you've had the baby, that's gone out the door.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm still like, well, we moved into a house in November. But I'm still pretty modest where I'm like, babe, you need to stay in the living room while I poop in our bathroom.
And how about the family on both sides? It's a big shift for the family too. Were they in shock, or did your mom say, like, do you get yelled at, like, hey, you're too young to have a baby, or do they go to immediate support, or what's his family say? What was the immediate family's response?
Yeah, my parents were definitely a bit more hesitant at first. I think for them it was the same thing. Like, we need a plan moving forward, and we told them a day after we found out. So for us, we were like scared to death, and we didn't have a plan. And then they wanted a plan, so it was like a lot of confusion for a couple weeks. And then eventually, like, I kind of just poured my heart out to them. I was like, I'm scared. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I literally came to you guys because I need support. And they're like, okay, like,
Oh, that's
it's
awesome. Smart move.
our daughter.
Good tag.
Like,
Good strategy, girl. Good strategy.
yeah, because I mean, I think, yeah, I was just like too embarrassed to like go to them for help. And once I eventually just like admitted that I was like, hey, I came to you guys because I need you guys. They're like, oh, okay. Like they kind of they were like, all right, we're on board. Like whatever you guys need, like we're here to help and support. And then his parents, they already have a grandbaby. So I mean, pretty much from the first time we told them, they were pretty pumped to have another grandbaby on the way. So
Do you have siblings?
I have a brother. Yep.
And he doesn't have kids yet?
No, he just got married in December.
Because definitely, I have an older sister, and she had 3 kids before I had kids, and she definitely took the brunt of the family's all their opinions, and
Yeah.
she took all that, how you're raising your kid, where they go to school, all that shit, and she took the brunt. And by the time I had a kid, they were already like, just like,
Like,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, exactly. It's gonna be like when you have your second kid, you're just gonna be like, whatever, like, you're
Yeah.
just like, you're not worried about them falling off the bed with the second kid. The first kid cannot fall off the bed.
No.
The second kid, you're like, hey, you fell off, whatever, get up.
Brush it off. You'll be fine.
Yep. Yeah, brush it off. You're good. Yeah. And then tell me about the pregnancy. So here you are, this world class athlete, pinnacle of your fitness. Not even the pinnacle of your fitness. Probably just entering at 21 years old, the beginning of the pinnacle of your fitness. Like where, like, holy shit, now it's all going to come together. You're going to get 4 years, 21 to 25 of just the superpowers that youth gets, and you get pregnant. Were you able to kind of take an intermission and let go of that and enjoy the pregnancy, or how did you navigate that?
Yeah, I mean, it actually worked out really well because, I mean, I haven't really like shared this on social media at all, but the beginning of last year, it's actually funny now that the open's here now, because the first open workout of last year, I literally like broke down crying, like hyperventilating. I literally just like, I wasn't scared of the workout. I was scared of the season, as having a lot of doubts about competing. And then I kind of just like chugged through, and like with everything that happened with quarterfinals, I was like, oh, well, maybe that's why. I was like having all of that anxiety and doubts and stress about the season. And like, I think there was definitely a bit of, I mean, not a bit, but a lot of burnout, because that was like 7th year competing, which, it adds up.
Yeah. That's a lot of hours. Did you compete as a teen, Paige?
Yeah.
Okay.
2018 was my first year, and I was in the 14-15.
Okay. So 5 years of like elite level training, baby comes, and you're
Mhm.
saying that it was like a good. You're saying the break time is good.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. It was kind of like hard to wrap my mind around at first, because it was hard to let go of that, like looking at quarterfinals. I'm just going to say like 5th place, because,
Fine. I'm good with it.
yeah, I had the fitness to be in fitness.
Hey, I'm good with it. I'm good. I think everyone's good with it. Everyone knows. No one's gonna be like, she's a sore loser. Everyone knows.
I was like, well, obviously, like my fitness is there, so it was hard to let go of that and be able to, you know, give my body what it needs. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was really like working out through the whole pregnancy was all about her, and like keeping my body healthy for her, and knowing when to back off too, because there was times where, like I said earlier, my whole first trimester, there was literally like a week at a time where I just wouldn't go to the gym at all because I was so sick and throwing up all day, every day.
Oh, you were actually throwing up. You didn't just get nauseous. You would throw up.
No, I was throwing up until week 40,
Wow.
the whole time. But I took like a anti-nausea pill that like helped that. But
So
if
it was
I,
hard to enjoy the pregnancy, is what you're saying, because you were always nauseous.
I mean, honestly, I feel like there are a lot of things to complain about in pregnancy, but for me, it was just such a miracle the whole time. I think a
Mm.
lot was like I'd have the little apps of like, oh, she's the size of like a grape,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
she's the size of an avocado, and like all the developments that they'd have, and that was just honestly mind blowing to me that that was happening inside my body. It was crazy.
Those apps are cool. My wife did that too, and like she would send me the updates, and I'd be sitting there reading them. I'm like, holy cow! It makes it
Yeah.
it really makes the journey fun.
Mhm.
What did Dalton think about the transformation your body went through? Did he enjoy it? I completely, as an outsider, felt like the luckiest guy in the world to watch my wife grow babies in her stomach. It was just like,
Yeah.
hold, this is incredible.
Yeah, he did too. And the times where I was like kind of down about myself and like kind of missing my old body, he was always the one that would make me feel better about my new body and how it was growing and, you know, like growing our baby. And he absolutely loved whenever she was able to like kick and you could feel it. That was like really special for him.
Yeah, it's a shame. Occasionally I'll run into a guy who will tell me he didn't like what happened to his wife, and I'll be like, how did you not, weren't you? I mean, I used to just watch my wife walk around the house and think, holy shit, like she grown a baby in there, she's managing all this, she did the same thing you did, still working out, you know, every day. Even going to watch my wife work out was just like, I couldn't even believe what I was seeing.
Yeah, it was the same. He was super supportive the whole time. And I would be doing like class workouts with my parents, and he'd pop by in the gym and he'd be like, go baby mama. Like,
Yeah, awesome.
Things, yeah.
So you go through, and when did you? My wife never cracked the code on the nausea. She would be like, okay, I figured it out, I'm gonna chew gum, and then an hour later she's like, that didn't work. Or she'd be like, get me saltines. I go to the store, get her saltines. She's like, I cracked the code on it. She's like, nope. And she never cracked the code on it. Did you ever crack the code on it?
No, it was literally just Zofran.
It was like what? Say that again.
Zofran medication.
Oh, okay. That
was a lifesaver.
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to get through the pregnancy without that.
And Paige, don't most women only have it usually for the first trimester and then it goes away? I want to say.
Typically, yeah. I think it was around the 12 to 14 week mark is when it typically drops off. I remember being at the 14-week mark, and then the 15 and the 16 and the 17. I was like, I don't think this is going away. My mom was like, no, it probably will. She's like, I went to 17 weeks of morning sickness with you, and then it was like 18, 19. I was like, Mom, this isn't going away. So that's why I eventually like talked to my midwife. So I was like, hey, I need something, because I tried all of the, the gum. I was sniffing like alcohol wipes, especially when Dalton cooked chicken. I would literally just be sitting on the couch like with an alcohol wipe sniffing it. And
that's interesting, because that's something too that happens to women. My wife's, it's never gone away really too. My wife has now become very sensitive. I mean, it's diminished a little bit, but very sensitive to smells.
Yeah, I'm definitely, my smells are heightened still after the pregnancy now. But
you didn't like the smell of chicken cooking. You're like, I can't do that.
No, I don't like the smell. It doesn't make me like dry heave or anything. But it would literally make me throw up, especially in my first trimester. And I couldn't eat chicken either. I think for 5 or 6 weeks straight, all I ate was dino nuggets and sweet potato fries.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that was like the only food that I could get in and keep down.
My wife was nearly vegan when she started the pregnancy. I couldn't. I mean, I would see her eat like fish like once, I don't know, a year. And then I remember we went to a hamburger place, and I saw her order sweet potato fries and a hamburger, and she was probably, I don't know, 5 weeks pregnant, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And she sat down and she ate the entire hamburger, all the sweet potato fries, and she used to drink water like a bird. And then now when she's pregnant, she drinks it like a man. She like just pours one in as a base. Just, you know what I mean? Yeah. 1 pint of water just for the base, and then start drinking. I'm like, what? And then now, we're 8 years into it, and she has a steak every morning. It's just complete. She's like, I don't know what happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's hardcore. Steak every morning.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do
that. A ribeye every morning. Yum.
Good for her. I love that.
So you do the pregnancy, and you keep working out, and then did I see you did a high rocks at 7 months? Oh, let me ask you this real quick. Had you ever had a miscarriage before?
No.
Okay. I'm not remembering exactly right, but my wife had a miscarriage, and I think like, I don't know if I'm making this up or something. I think the spirit of what I'm saying is right. Like the day before she had her miscarriage, she was on the rower or something. Right. And so then like when she got pregnant the second time, she was kind of like, oh, fuck the rower. You know what I mean? She just made that connection. Not that, I mean, she knew it wasn't like official, but were there any she became very concerned, and she wanted to still work out all the time, and she knew it was good, but she was concerned. She didn't want to do anything to hurt the baby. So as you're doing this, are you thinking that, okay, what can I do? And then when I saw you did high rocks at 7 months, and I saw Dalton say, I'm just here to make sure she doesn't get too competitive. How did you have fears of like accidentally hurting the baby or getting a premature birth or something?
No, I definitely didn't because of like the women that I have around me. And I wasn't exactly sure about the high rocks at first, but then I saw the Instagram of she's like won high rocks a couple times. Her name is Lauren, and she did one when she was pretty pregnant as well. I want to say she was around 7 months. And she was able to complete a high rocks pregnant. I was like, like I've been doing fitness this whole time. I've been running still. I've been squatting. I've been doing burpees, obviously modified so I'm not burping on my baby bump. But all the movements there were super light. The thing that I was most concerned about was the running, and that's where Dalton was like, like we're just gonna have to trot, like just to keep the intensity, lower than what my competitive self would have liked it to be. And I just went into it with the mindset of we're doing this for completion and not for competition. And I think that helped, and like that eased my mind of, I'm not going to do anything to hurt my baby as long as, it's just like it's an intuition thing too. Like as long as my body feels good and, I'm not having any like Braxton Hicks or, like nothing feels wrong, like I'm good to do it. So
my ego just swole because I know what Braxton Hicks is. I'm just like, yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, talk to me about contraction talk. Did you wear any of those things? My wife, I don't know if it was after the baby dropped, but at some point she got something, I want to say, that like goes around your waist, or outfits that kind of give you while you're working out like a little bit of like support under the belly. Did you do that?
No, I did KT tape once on my belly. I want to say it was for 3 or 4 days, but I'm pretty allergic to the adhesive on KT tape.
Oh,
So it was a nice relief for like 3 days, but my belly was so itchy that I took it off. But I think that would have helped a lot. But I also didn't get like huge ever. I mean, I was definitely like, you could tell, I was 39 weeks pregnant, but I felt like my belly never really got ginormous. So
your body held the baby well. You're a good baby carrier.
yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe it was just for the first though. I don't know if it's because my core is so strong, so it kind of just kept everything in.
Did you
But
have any diastasis? Did you have any of that splitting of the stomach muscles?
a little bit. I think I mean I'm not sure. I went to like a pelvic floor PT. I'm not sure it was technically classified as diastasis, just because it was like you measure it with your finger width. So
Right.
I think it was like 2 or 2.5 fingers at the end. And it just in the middle of my belly where, the baby is the most. But after the pregnancy, that came together pretty well. So it was nothing to ever really be concerned about. But I also stopped doing like toes to bar or ab
Mm.
ups. And at the end, I'd take out like push ups, planking, anything that would make my belly kind of like pop out a little bit in the middle.
How
So,
about pull-ups?
pull ups, actually, I did them for a while. And I think gosh, I don't remember what week I went to, but I went from, kipping pull up or butterfly pull ups to kipping pull ups, and then eventually just changed it to strict. And then the last couple of weeks, I was just like feeling way too heavy to keep doing them, so I just took them out. But I actually
That
just pull ups yesterday. I was like, dang, these feel so good being like 20 pounds lighter now.
Nice. That was some. I remember my wife gave those up. I remember being in the gym with her, and she was doing pull-ups, and she said, "Oh, I'm taking these out." And I'm like, "Why?" She said she felt pulling in her stomach.
I never really felt that whenever I was doing strict, but I definitely started to feel that when I was doing the kipping pull ups. I was like, it's time, take those out.
Paige, you mentioned it helped having, you said women around you. Tell me about that. The women around you as you get pregnant. Who
Yeah,
was it, and like what kind of support did they offer? I'm assuming it's other girls who work out, and so they were able to be like, "Hey, you're cool."
yeah, there was lots of women at the gym that have just had babies like 6 months.
At Mayhem.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
imagine Mayhem being a baby factory. It's like pretending to be a CrossFit gym, but it's really baby factory.
yeah. And this last year, we've had like a baby boom here. And she's actually the only girl out of all of them. So she's going to
Wow.
have lots of dating options when she's 16.
Awesome.
Yeah. But I definitely lean on them for support. And then Darren Hunsucker's wife, Jess, we actually delivered 2 weeks apart. But our due date was like five days apart. And this was her fourth. So I leaned on her a lot, especially because, she's been through it 4 times and
Mm.
she knows all the ins and outs. And that was a lot of like, hey, when should I take GHDs out? When should I take this out? Like, is it okay to keep, power cleaning or whatever? And then same thing with now postpartum. I'm leaning on her a lot for what I'm able to do now.
Hunsucker has 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
he's stoked. I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a party over there.
Wow. What do they drive? Do you know what kind of car they drive? How do you drive? What car do you get when you have 4 kids? You get a,
Well, he has a Bronco, and then they share. I think it's an Expedition, one
yeah.
of those
Okay. Yeah.
vans, kind
Yeah.
of
We're
SUVs.
on a family trip and we rented one of those. God, thank God. And I only have 3 kids, but thank God.
Yeah, yeah, that thing's nice.
And it's big. I don't even hear them in the back.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, get back there.
yeah.
Whole fight can break out. I don't even know what's going on.
You need like a privacy screen, like a limo.
Do you guys have 2 cars? You and your husband?
Mm-hmm. Well, not husband yet, but
Sorry, your
that's
Dalton.
yeah. Not yet. But yeah, we have a truck and a Jeep Grand Cherokee. He used to have a Toyota Tacoma, which was really nice, but a car seat won't fit in the back, so he had to sell that.
Wow.
But the Jeep's really nice. I will say
Yeah,
it.
Dalton making the big give ups. All right.
Yeah. It was kind of nice though because the Tacoma didn't have a lot of the luxuries like the heated seats, not the stuff that you need, but the stuff that you want.
Yeah.
CarPlay.
Yeah.
So this one's pretty nice, but we kind of did a little switcheroo. I drive the car and he drives the truck now.
Oh,
Just
and that's what I was going to ask. So that's cool. Yeah, we have 2 cars. No one has their car, but if I can get the van, I take the van. I think it worked out well. We have a 4Runner and a minivan, and I love the minivan, and I think my wife likes the 4Runner. So
yeah.
it's like it just worked out.
Yeah. I tried to convince him that minivan like down the road. Because we definitely he's shaking his head right now. But
It's so nice. You can put so much stuff in there.
yeah.
I
And
love it. You can put anything you want in
yeah,
there. Skateboards. You can put dumbbells. You can carry D-balls in the back. Like you can anytime I want to take the boys somewhere to go work out, you can just stuff anything you want in there. It's awesome.
yeah. I know. I'll have to convince him eventually.
He'll break. I always wanted a minivan before we had kids, and my wife was like, "No way!" And I was so surprised because my wife doesn't give a shit about anything like that. Like I could, but she's like, and then when we had the kids, I was like, "Oh, she's toast." I'm definitely working in a minivan.
Oh yeah. Gotta get the minivan. I know, I feel like especially down the road if we have more, we need something like that.
What's the deal with getting married? I think you and I have talked about this before. My wife and I, when she was pregnant with the twins, we had one baby, and then she got pregnant with the twins. And I was on an airplane, and there was some turbulence. And I remember like it was like probably the most audible voice I've ever heard in my head. Like that, I was like, "Oh shit, was that my own voice or what's going on?" And it was basically like, "Hey, I can't believe you haven't asked her to marry you. I can't believe you're not married." And I remember thinking, I have no interest in. I remember thinking like I've never had any interest in getting married. And when I heard that, I was like, "What the fuck?" And I came home
Yeah.
and I was like, "Hey, dude, let's get married." And I remember thinking,
Yeah.
I justified it like, "Hey, the reason why I want to get married is in case I die, there's no complications, just all our shit, like it's just hers. But then after we got married, it did transform me.
Yeah.
I felt I would have never thought I could even feel more loyal to my wife, but all of a sudden I felt even more loyal to her. And I'm like, I can't believe how happy I am to be married. I seriously thought it was going to be just stupid, just like check a box. What are your thoughts on the whole marriage thing?
Yeah, I mean, we both definitely do want to get married, and that's definitely in the future. But for us right now, our hold off is, we're busy supporting her, and it's like the financials of,
We went to a courthouse. Yeah, fuck spending money on a wedding.
Yeah, honestly,
My
so
opinion. My opinion.
we have thought about just, going off for a weekend, even, taking a weekend trip just to go out of state and get married in a courthouse. Um, but I still have, the childhood dream of, I've always dreamed about my wedding dress.
Yeah.
And he took that away from me. So we're
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
awesome. Do it.
trying to find the balance of like maybe, hey, we do like a quick little courthouse marriage, and then a year down the road when we're ready and she's a little bit older, we can do the ceremony. And I've always wanted like my dad to walk me down the aisle. That's something that would be like super special to me. But even if we do a wedding like that, it'll kind of just be more selfishly for me, just to be able to like wear the dress and say I had a wedding. But we'd just keep it super minimal, like just immediate family, like probably just like parents, grandparents, and siblings, and that's it.
Now that I think about it in front of you, talking to you, it is probably a really powerful commitment to make in front of 100 of your closest friends. Basically saying, hey, everyone, I'm with him.
Yeah.
Forever till one of us dies.
Yeah.
And beyond. Yeah, it's pretty intense. It's probably a really unique experience that I haven't given enough value to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we definitely want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just, a timing thing right now.
Did you guys go to birthing classes?
We did one birthing class at the hospital that I delivered at here in Cookville. And honestly, it was helpful for me just for the fact of I got to see where I was going to be the day of, like see the room, see the postpartum room, get to meet some of the nurses. So that was helpful. But as far as the information, I kind of already knew everything. It did confirm my choice to get an epidural because I was already like planning on it in the back of my head. But then they said that, it helps take away, almost 100% of the pain, and it doesn't reach like the baby or the amniotic sac at all. So I was like, okay, perfect. If it doesn't hurt baby and it takes away the pain, sign me up. So.
And you got that information there. So that was important.
Yeah. Yes.
And when you say you knew what you needed to know, had you been researching? Had you been reading books or listening to books or talking to people?
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of it too was, Instagram algorithm. As soon as I got pregnant, immediately switched to all pregnancy babies. So a lot of that, I kind of just did my research through that. But then also talked to like other people and talked to my mom. She was a big one for, leaning on for advice. And she was also like a confirming factor of like, I was just nervous about getting the epidural, but also like a lot more nervous about doing a like natural birth. And she was like, if I could do it again, I'd get it because she didn't get it with either of us kids.
So you did have you did have a natural birth. Besides the epidural, you did have a natural birth.
Yeah. Like,
yeah. Impressive. Good job, girl.
Thanks. Yeah.
Completely unique experience, like nothing ever.
Honestly, pretty much. Yeah. It was, so I went into labor. I was in labor for like 36 hours. That was between early labor and active labor.
And how do you know you're in labor? Does your water break and then there's this cascade of events, or?
No, for me, actually, typically most people's water don't break until they're actually like about to push the baby out, until they're like fully dilated, which was my case. But for me, I started having contractions. It was actually the day before my birthday, so I thought I was gonna have a little birthday twin. And we went into the hospital. It's like you have to start timing your contractions, and once they get 3 to 5 minutes apart, they say to head into the hospital. So we did that, but nothing else was progressed. I wasn't dilated or effaced, pretty much at all.
What's a
Um,
phase mean?
it's the thinning of the cervix, so you have to
Oh,
be
right. Okay.
completely, yeah, like 100% effaced, completely thinned out. I was at like 50%.
Okay.
So there was barely any progress being made. So they gave me some medicine to go home and be able to sleep through the contractions. And then the next day, it was, still like super spaced out. They were super irregular, like 10 minutes apart, then 5 minutes apart, like for the whole day. And then I sent Dalton off to work. I was like, just go to work because I don't want you to miss another day. In case, like I could be like that for multiple days. I could be in early labor. So I was like, just go to work. I'll text you if anything changes. And like 2 hours into his shift, I was like, my mom and dad came over here while he was at work just so I wasn't, alone. And I was like, hey, babe, I think we need to head to the hospital like right now. So we went there and it was still, I was only 70% of phase, not dilated at all. And they're like, oh, like, we might have to send you home. And I was like, just give me a little more time because I was in so much pain and contractions were like at that point, they were every 3 minutes. Um,
So
and
the contractions are painful.
oh yeah, honestly, it was the worst pain that I've ever experienced just because it's so consistent and the contractions last a whole minute. So it's like a whole minute of pain and then 2 minutes of rest and then a minute of pain, 2 minutes of rest. Um, and I was like, I literally broke down to the nurses. I was like, I can't do this for like another. I was like, I can barely do this for another hour. Like, I can't do this for more days. I was like, you cannot send me home. So they sent the midwife in, and she's like, if you want an epidural, we can give you that. We would just have to, check you into the hospital for the night. And then if things don't progress, we'll have to give you Pitocin to like speed things along, which is like fake oxytocin it triggers your body to go into labor and to dilate and efface.
It's supposed to induce the pregnancy.
Yeah.
Time to
Yep.
get out, maybe. Okay.
So I think it was 2 hours after that, they gave me the epidural, completely changed things 180. Like I mean, I was in so much pain and then within 10 minutes I went to literally just like smiling and talking with Dalton. I was actually able to sleep because by that time it was like 11 o'clock. So I slept on and off till like 2.
And your
And
body, while you're sleeping, your body's just going through contractions, but
then
but you're kind of
I,
like in a dream state. You feel them, but you're out.
I couldn't feel them at all.
Okay, you were out.
Yeah.
You actually got some sleep.
Yeah, they had the monitor on me to see when the contractions were and to make sure that they were still there. Um, and they came in and like checked my cervix. And I want to say I was like 70% effaced and like 2 centimeters dilated. So then they started me on Pitocin, and within an hour and a half, I was completely effaced, completely dilated, and like ready to push. And my water broke. Like my water broke, called them in, and they're like, "Okay, what? Like, do you feel like you can push?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, I
How
feel
was
like
that? How was that? Was that exciting when the water broke? Were you like, is that like, it's like being in line at an amusement park and like all of a sudden you can see, when the line's super long and then all of a sudden you get close enough to see the ride. You're like, okay, I'm here.
well, yeah. I didn't really know that my water broke, because with the epidural, like my legs were pretty numb. I could still feel them, but I like felt like kind of like a liquid running down my legs. I was like, I don't know. I told Dalton, I was like, I don't know if my water just broke. Like, should I call them in? And he's like, yeah, like you probably should, if you think it broke. And even the nurses, when they came in, they're like, no, we don't think it's that. And they had to test it to see if it was
Like they weren't sure if it was pee or the water broke?
I don't know what they thought. I think they,
Okay.
there's like, it's called bloody show. And
Okay.
it can
That's a
happen
crazy name.
multiple hours before you go into labor.
Are you eating during all this? Are you eating or drinking anything? Like, are you drinking juice or like,
I
no,
was water.
water? No, you didn't do any food, bananas, nothing.
Me, the epidural, I wasn't allowed to eat or drink anything besides water.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hardcore because you need energy to get through to push. I mean, you're about to do a workout.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, I got super lucky. Like, whenever they came in and checked me, within 10 to 15 minutes, I had a baby in my arms. Like, it took me 5 or 10 minutes of pushing.
And the baby was out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Dalton was in there?
Super fast, super smooth. Yeah, Dalton was right next to me. I wasn't sure if he was going to watch, but he did. And then he cut the umbilical cord, and it's called the golden hour. And it's just an hour of like skin to skin time with the baby. So it was just the three of us for an hour, which was really nice.
And your parents were there also?
My parents and his parents were in the lobby. We like texted them pretty much as soon as they checked me and I was fully dilated. He texted them and they headed over. And then they waited in the lobby for I think it was like an hour and a half or 2 hours, because we had the golden hour, just the three of us in the room. And then they came in and taught me like how to breastfeed her. And that was another like hour.
Yeah. And are you still breastfeeding?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And how old is the baby? 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Congratulations, dude. That's about as smooth as that's smooth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was super blessed to have such a smooth delivery experience. It was awesome.
What was Dalton's feedback on the birth? Like when he talks to you about it, what he witnessed, what did he say? What's his response?
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't really. The only thing that I really remember is that whenever they could see her head while I was pushing, they gave her a mohawk, and they told me that she had a mohawk. And then later I found out that he said, like, as I was like pushing her out, they were like using their fingers to like give her hair a mohawk.
Yeah.
I did say it was like pretty wild, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's wild. It's probably one of the, I'm trying to think if there's anything cooler I've ever seen, because it doesn't look like it's anatomically possible. And then you see it happen and you're like, oh, it changes your whole perspective on the vagina. You're like, oh, now I get what all those things are for down there. It all of a sudden makes sense. You're like, oh, that's why it's got all that stuff down there. It's got to like turn into an accordion.
Got to stretch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to stretch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was pretty wild for him to see. That was something that I didn't want to see at all. Like, I was like, I want to push her out and not know what's happening down there at all.
Yeah, I get that. If it was happening to me, I wouldn't want to see either. But definitely, once I saw it, I was like, the next two, I was like, I'm not missing this again. I mean, it's truly like it's amazing. So then they get the baby, he cuts the umbilical cord, and it's just on you. And do you remember any of your inner thoughts then? Were you like, Paige Powers' mom? Or like, did you know when you all of a sudden you were a mom? Like, did you say that again? Sorry.
It's just Oakley's mom now. I don't have a name. It's just Oakley's mom.
Do you remember? Was it just seamless? Like, do you remember transforming, or did you have any like pushback where you're like, oh, what have I done? Or were you like, oh my God, this is perfect. I'm gonna just embrace this. I'm mom.
Pretty much. It was the most wild but special moment. Like, I mean, you carry her for like close to 10 months, and then she's just there, like sitting on you. And I think it was really wild whenever the nurses left, and you're like, okay, like this is our baby, like we have to take care of her. And I mean, after they taught me how to breastfeed, they literally like they just left. And it was like, okay, I guess we're just we're figuring it out. And it was really cool because I feel like all the tools that I needed were just right there, even though I've never done this before. It was like everything just came natural. Um, and then honestly, the first time that I really got hit hard was when we came home from the hospital, and we were just sitting on the couch, and I was like, oh my God, like she's ours. Like she's our baby. Um, and that's when, I mean, I was crying after I gave birth too, but that's when I was like bawling. I was like, she's just so perfect. This little thing that's like half the person I love most and half of me. And that was just the most wild, mind blowing thing ever.
It is weird, right? Like all of a sudden you're just going about your day, and then all of a sudden, like you have a human to take care of. You're like, hey, dude. Like I just remember thinking, like, be driving and the baby's in the back seat. I'm like, where'd this dude? Like even after like 5 months, I'm like, who's this stranger in our car? Like
Yeah.
where did this dude come from?
Yep. The stranger
It's just like,
eats, sleeps, and poops all day. But
and you're kind of like, hey, are you coming home? Are the nurses coming home with me? Like, what's gonna happen here? Who's taking care of this? And they're like,
yeah.
everyone's gone. You're like, oh.
Oh, she's ours. They're ours.
Do you feel do you feel like there's and I don't mean this in any negative way. I'm going to say it might sound negative, but do you feel like a lot of that responsibility just falls on you? Like I felt like pretty much it all fell on my wife, and I was like, man, because there was really nothing I could do, right? Like all I could do is make sure like the laundry was done and she had what she needed to eat, but it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't feel bad. I wasn't upset or anything like that, or I didn't feel left out, but I was just like, it's showtime for mama. Like it's 9 months is just the beginning. Now it's like, now she's got to like, it's like planting seeds, and now you got to harvest the crop, and I can't really do shit.
Yeah, it is. Dalton can only do so much, but at the end of the day, it's like I always joke with him. I'm like, your nipples are worthless, like
Right.
like since I am exclusively breastfeeding right now, I do want to, start introducing a bottle so that we could kind of start sharing, especially, we do have a good routine right now though. Like he gets up and changes her diaper at night, and then I feed her and get her back to sleep. And then if she's like fussing, he'll get up and like rock her back to sleep too. So it definitely does feel like our responsibilities are split, but at the same time, it's, like for him, it's, a lot of the ways he can help me is making me lunch when, I
Yeah.
usually go to the gym in the early, like early afternoon / like late morning. And then by the time I get home, I have to feed her right away. And then, he'll take care of stuff, do dishes, make me lunch. And so that helps a lot. So
Yeah. I remember my wife would say stuff like, I'm going to take a shower, and I would just run in and grab the baby. Okay. I'm going to
yeah,
do something now.
yeah, yeah.
I'm going
She
to walk around with the baby.
Yeah, she's definitely a daddy's girl. Like sometimes if I can't get her to sleep, he'll throw her up on his chest and she's out. I'm like, okay, that's not fair. I carried you for 10 months and you won't just go out for me.
Yeah, even to this day, it's such a my boys are 8 and 10. It's such a different dynamic. They treat my wife so differently than they treat me. They have such a different skill set in communicating with her than they do with me.
Yeah.
It's very, I mean, because they know you're the provider, right? They know like for like sustenance, like you're it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I saw that you're doing the Mayhem Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that I think I saw a video of you on a rower, and you're like, okay, I'm going to add a little intensity. Tell me where you are in that journey. I know a bunch of us were sitting around when we saw that, and we were like kind of like, holy shit, is she actually doing it?
I mean, if I do it, it's definitely just gonna be for fun.
Okay.
Definitely just gonna be, a way for me to get back out on the competition floor, and have fun with it. And I'm still like hesitant as far as I'm only going to do it if baby's doing okay and my body's feeling okay. Like, I'm not going to risk injury to do a competition this early on, especially because I didn't really expect to do anything until Rogue later this year. But then I fell in line on the Rogue leaderboard, which they use for the qualifications and the invites. Um, and I was like, well, we might as well give it a try. Asked Jess Hunsucker, I was like, do you think that's absolutely nuts to do that 8 weeks postpartum? And she's like, it really just depends on the birth. And, you know, she's like, I think you can do it as long as your body's feeling good and your baby's doing good after. So, but I'm feeling a lot better, only being 3 weeks postpartum than I thought I would. So I'm very grateful for that.
Paige, what about I know you guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I know a lot of athletes are like your guys are always flirting with like caloric restriction, like it's about making a body that's got all the fuel it needs but that can go. And so I know the food thing is just crazy, right? Like if that shit needs to be perfect to be your best. Do you have any thoughts about your milk drying up or anything like that in regards to like, hey, if you're going to fuck around with being an athlete and you're going to start leaning towards more of that caloric restriction, or like, hey,
I'm not willing to risk that because I really am set on breastfeeding. So I'm gonna, I've been
that makes
eating.
me so happy to hear that. Yeah, that makes me so happy.
Yeah. And that's something, and hydrating a ton as well. So that's something that I've really prioritized, especially since I've been getting in the gym a little bit more. And now starting to add intensity. I mean, that workout was last Wednesday, and that was my first little piece of intensity. And then I did the open workout Friday, and that was like my first like real CrossFit workout back. And I mean, I just did it for fun, but I definitely, I was hurting afterwards. Like it wasn't easy. So that's something that, I've added in, like, I think they say 500 calories extra when you're breastfeeding, but then also now that I'm starting to work out more and add in more intensity, I have to add extra calories for that. So, for me, it's like I'm okay with, for the first time in my life, really, my body image not being the priority. Because looking back on last year, I was like, there was pictures where I was lean and ripped and I thought I was fat then, which is the most insane thing ever. But
Yeah.
forced me to have a way better perspective on my body image, because now it's like what my body can provide for her and not just what it looks like. So
Selflessness is where all the freedom is at. When you're not thinking about yourself, it's where it's kind of wild. You know, they think it's like some sort of like the selflessness is kind of like the most selfish thing you can do, because when you're selfless, you're just completely free of all your shit. You know what I mean? Like when you're focused on your kids, it's like all your shit just goes away and you're in heaven.
yeah. Yeah, it really has been the most freeing thing ever. I think going into competing this season too, I have that freedom mindset of, at the end of the day, like, even if I don't achieve my goals, like, I still have my family here. Like, I have my little girl and I have Dalton and the people that love me most. So that's all that matters.
It is I'm guessing also there's a little bit of freedom too, because you're not going to have there's a lot of people who watch the sport, and then what comes with being an athlete and competing and sponsorships and prize money, the fans, our favorite thing is to judge the athletes. Oh, they did good here, this person can beat this person, and you will get a reprieve from that while you're on the floor. Like the expectations from you are going to be crazy low, and just I think you're going to receive a big dose of like, wow, it's just cool to see her on the floor.
Yeah, for sure. I think
And then
that,
hopefully you can enjoy that before, another couple years pass and all the pressure comes from everyone being like, okay, is Paige going to be, seventh or fourth, or is she going to win the podium? You know what I mean? Because that will come back as you start, just as you start getting better.
right. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be nice for a bit though. And even for myself to not have the expectations of having a certain placement. Even, going into Rogue later this year, if that's, still the plan and still in the cards for this year, I just like having no expectations of like the qualifier or the competition itself, like just going there and doing my best and having fun with it again, which I haven't been able to do since I was a teenager, because that was the only other time that I had no expectations of myself and I didn't know how good I could do. So
what about so you finish will you just be working out and then just like get off the rower and then just go sit on a box and breastfeed?
No, usually I plan it to where she feeds like around every 3 hours during the day. So usually I'll plan it where I feed her right before I leave for the gym. I'll go to the gym and then I'll hit like a power hour and a half right now. Kind of just pack a bunch of things in an hour and a half, and then I'll head back home and feed her here. Or if she's hungry there, I'll feed her at the gym. But
So it is sometimes like that.
about it, I'll like go in the locker room and pull a shower curtain closed.
So, but it is like that. You'll literally be working out and 3 minutes later you'll be breastfeeding.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it was for the open workout. I like kind of got a late start, and she was hungry earlier than usual, so I rested like 5-10 minutes after and then breastfeeded her. And then ended up all over me, so that was fun. But
yeah, that's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
My wife, the
Always
first baby, she overfed at every feeding. The baby, that was like part of it. Burp, throw up. I'm like,
Yep.
oh, good. She's feeding them good.
Yep. Exactly.
But I would see my wife do crazy shit, and I remember the one of the craziest things she did is she did Murph. We went to some random affiliate, and she's like, "Hey, I want to do Murph." When I took her there, of course, I just sat and watched, held the baby, and she crossed the finish line, sat down, was just completely falling apart, eyes like fluttering her head, took the baby, lifted up her shirt, and was breastfeeding. While I'm just like, this is nuts. This is and she's like catching her breath for the next 20 minutes and the baby's like in heaven. I'm like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
This is nuts. So Mayhem Classic, you'll do it, but do you think you have the capability to chill?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the same kind of mindset as the High Rocks, because I've allowed myself to I have an excuse to be able to give myself like a good excuse of, I'm going to be 8 weeks postpartum at Mayhem Classic. So there's, really no pressure. And even the women at the gym right now, they're like, I don't know how you're working out. Like some people are just now starting to walk at 3 weeks postpartum.
Yeah, my wife did move after the twins. She didn't move for 3 months. She literally didn't she chilled.
Yeah.
3 months.
I want to say 3 days postpartum. I was 3 or 4 days. I was in the gym walking.
Wow.
Because
any complications with that? You start bleeding again or anything?
No.
No. Oh, awesome. Okay, that's good to hear.
Monitor that and make sure that my bleeding hasn't increased at all or I haven't had any cramping. But as long as that's all good, I continue to add a little bit more, add some more weight. I just, did back squats at 85 pounds, which is the first time back squatting in probably 8 weeks.
And how was that?
It felt great.
It did feel good. Okay.
It was really nice to be able to move some weight again.
So you'll go to the Mayhem Classic, but no, you're not. You put out like, hey, I need to because it's gonna be really gnarly competition, right? The window for people who can go to the games has gotten small. The opportunity, the steps are very technical. Going through the online affiliate is going to be like near to impossible. I mean, so you'll let all that go.
Yeah, there's no pressure or expectations on the game season at all. And that's never been my goal since I've been pregnant, was to get back to the games this year. That was, honestly, even the open, I thought that was completely out of the cards. But then whenever the workout came out on Thursday, I was like, oh, sick. I can actually RX this workout because it's light enough and body weight lunges. I was like, this is the perfect postpartum workout. So it's really just, I'm doing the CrossFit Games season just for fun.
Right. Okay. It's
But
just to stay moving and rebuild.
yeah, no, absolutely no pressure on qualifying for the games. But yeah, like I think Rogue is going to be the one that I'm going to put a little bit more pressure on myself and, want to qualify for that and do well there. Well, as good as I can.
Any soreness since you started working out again, like when you did those back squats? Any soreness from that?
Like soreness from the birth or like
No. I'm like muscular soreness, like
yeah,
quad, butt. Start like you're like, oh, I haven't like I'm sore. Like this is nice.
yeah, for sure. That and I did body weight lunges. I want to say earlier last week. And I was really sore from that. It was kind of funny. I was like, this is like I'd never be sore from body weight lunges before, but I did. I want to say like 300 feet. I was like, oh my goodness, this is awful. But I was a little bit sore from the open workout. A little sore from the. I don't know if it was back squats. I did a couple wall balls after that as well. So it could have been a combination of the two of those, but it's kind of fun to be like in that newbie stage again.
Yeah, being sore is fun.
Every day is a PR, and yeah, I'm getting sore from absolutely everything. So,
Hey, what about, have you looked into, I don't know much about this, but I've heard rumblings that after a woman has a baby, there's a 1 or 2 year period that where they kind of excel. Like people have said, Annie and Tia, that there's some sort of hormonal response to having a baby that it lets you have another like, I don't know, whatever chemicals are pumping through your body gives you I don't want to say an advantage, but like, hey, there's some shit going on. Hormonally, you're set to work hard. Have you looked into that? Is there a truth to that?
I have seen that because
Annie Sakamoto, even back in the day, she had the baby and everyone thought she was done, and
yeah,
she came back fierce.
yeah, when you get pregnant, there's an increase in blood cells running, and I think there's some science to. I mean, there's definitely some science to that. I think it's like because there's more blood, so then naturally more oxygen running through your body, and then
Okay.
it increases your aerobic capacity. But I remember even seeing a study about. I mean, this is absolutely awful, but back in the day, uh, in China, they would get their athletes pregnant to get the increase in that, and then they'd terminate the baby right before the Olympics.
Wow. Like as an enhancement,
Yeah.
hormonal enhancement. Crazy.
That's an absolute like awful example.
But it's
But
the study we have.
do it. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I do know that during my wife's first pregnancy, she was setting some like weightlifting PRs. I'd never seen her clean and jerk 135, and she's 5 months pregnant, and the bar's going around the belly, and she's in. I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy. I do remember it like didn't really, it didn't slow her down. Did you have some great workouts while you were pregnant?
I had some good workouts. Lifting, I stayed away from a lot of lifting. Most of it I do like bodybuilding sessions for my strength.
Mm.
But for me, lifting I continue to squat and do like light squats and body weight squats. But I think with the adjustment of my hips getting wider for the baby, it just didn't feel good on my body. So I just stayed away from pretty much all Olympic lifting, back squatting, deadlifting, unless it was super light.
Mm.
But I know there's like even lots of the CrossFit females right now that are, still doing some crazy lifting while they're pregnant. So I think it just depends on how your body reacts to it. But
And the weights, the big weights that you move around are crazy. Like, what's the most you've ever cleaned?
245.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'd say the most I cleaned during my pregnancy would probably be like 155. So
that's still crazy.
yeah, but compared to what, I used to do.
But it felt, and did it feel good? Like your joints felt good and everything felt fine doing it?
Up to a certain point, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the last, I want to say like 10 to 12 weeks, I don't think I lifted more than 95 or 105. Just because I'm with my hips, it didn't feel good. I think like bracing my belly too, like that, just didn't feel great. So I just didn't do it.
Yeah, it's great to hear how there's a theme here that you're very comfortable and confident in just listening to your body, from just the contractions to the weightlifting to the to all of it, to the calisthenics.
Yeah, that's really all it is, I've always been in tune with my body as an athlete, and it's no different for pregnancy. But it's just, being in tune with your body to worry about somebody else's little body that's growing. So
Paige, how was the open, having the open at your home gym?
it was cool. It was really cool. It was my first time experiencing the live open announcement, and that was really fun. Obviously, all four of them are great athletes, but Dalton's really good friend is Austin Hatfield, so we
Oh,
got
wow.
Austin. Oakley loves him, so that was really fun.
How do they know each other? They know each other from young, like
Yeah.
years and years ago? They
Yeah.
grew up together?
So Dalton grew up right next door to Austin's cousin. So Austin would come and visit quite a bit, and they'd all hang out together.
From how old? Like little kids? Like 5,
Like,
6, 7 years old? Shit.
yeah.
Oh, so it was fun for you guys.
Yeah. And then Austin stayed with us here for a day. He had a hotel before the announcement, but whenever he comes here, he always thinks of our house. He gets real comfortable here. But then he's also, like, strangely, he's a baby whisperer. So
Yeah.
she'd sound asleep whenever she's in his arms. So
Oh, what a great environment. And tell me about the vibe there, because when we were watching it at home, it moved very quick, and I don't want to be a cheese dick, but it felt like a really healing moment for the community. To Roman, Hatfield, Haley, and then Rory, and then Rich, and it felt. I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, okay, everything is everything is good. Like the world, everything's great." Was there was there any of that in at the event that you felt?
absolutely. And I think Rich, being such a big advocate for the CrossFit community, and being one of the, I want to say, one of the first people to say, hashtag I'm in, when everybody was hashtag I'm outing for the open.
Right.
Having it for the reason of the community, and bringing us all together, and like that's the sport that he's been the poster child of, and he like made it what it is today. I think he really just set the tone for everybody else that was there.
Yeah, that he makes it look so easy, and I know it's not, but he makes it look so easy and so effortless. But I mean, clearly it's not. I don't mean just the workout. I just mean the demeanor, the kind of man he is.
Yeah.
His presence in so many ways. Yeah, he's a rock. I remember when he showed up at the games. He was doing Leadville, and then there was the tragic accident with Lazar Jukic, and then Rich showed up there, came straight from Leadville to the games. And I remember when he walked into the underground area, the athlete only area, I mean, it was just like he got mobbed by the athletes who, I mean, he gets mobbed, but usually doesn't get mobbed in the athlete area, and just everyone came to him. And he just gave and gave and gave. And even people like me, I came over, we were all just taking from him. You know what I mean? Just like, just his stillness, and he was listening, and it was really cool. He really shows, he's really embraced that role.
Yeah, absolutely. He's really good at it. I think it just comes natural to him to be that like leader.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of it comes from, he's led a family, led a gym, led a team.
He's young though still. You know what I mean? He acts like a 50-year-old man, but he's only 30. Like, I found CrossFit when I was Rich's age.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's not like he's like, I mean, 35. What is it? 35, 37?
Somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it's crazy how much he's people lean on him for how young he is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's a old soul in a young man's body.
Yeah, it's really cool. All right. Well, thank you for sharing all that. Absolutely wonderful having you on. Holy shit, it's exactly an hour and 30.
Perfect.
Well, thank you for sharing all that. I know some people are like hesitant to share their birth stories. I normally don't text people before the show, but I wanted to make sure that it was okay, and I really appreciate you sharing it. I know for some people it's like really personal, and I don't blame them for not wanting to share it. But I think it's great. Let me ask you one more question. I'm hugely guilty of judging people for how they raise their kids, how they do their birth, all that stuff. Like I'm like, what the fuck? I know everything. Was that hard to share and then feel the judgment of that from other women saying you should be doing this, or when you post stuff online, people point in the judgment?
No, not
Good.
and I think that's something really early on that people are like, there's going to be, lots of opinions and lots of judgments from other people, but, everybody parents differently and everybody does pregnancy differently and everybody has a different birth story. I think that's like why I like to share that too, is because there's a lot of like negativity. There we go.
There's a lot.
And so
We could say that again. There's a lot of negativity.
there's a lot of negativity around, I mean, really like all of it. And I feel like especially birth stories as well. So I'm like, if I can have a positive one, I want to be able to share that, and give hope to other women as well. And
Yeah, it's good. I've been super critical about like so much about people taking the drugs or all that, and to tell you the truth, it was really good for me to hear your story. You have a wonderful birth story. You have a beautiful baby, and it's like it's your journey, and you handle it like a champ. And I think you unfucked me a little bit, so I appreciate it.
well, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. 22. You're only 22, Paige.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, crazy, dude. Crazy. You look different. You look like do you feel like when you look at pictures of yourself, like you're like, I noticed that with my wife, like she just changed. Like she like took like, there's like animals, humans, and then angels, and then like women when they have babies, they start sliding towards angels. Like, do you feel like when you look in the mirror, you're like, wow, I'm starting to look like an angel?
Maybe not right now. I feel like all I see is my eye bags from
Oh,
lack of sleep.
God, you sound like my wife.
But
Geez, holy
maybe
cow.
eventually.
Oh yeah, ask Dalton, he sees it.
He said, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely are. Yeah, you look absolutely amazing. You have angelic. Well, congratulations, crazy baby. Sat there for 90 minutes. Makes people wonder if the baby's a real baby or if you're faking it.
I know. She is great. She is. Yeah, she's going to get hungry here soon, though. So.
All right. Thank you very much. Always pleasure having you on. Love having you on. Tell Dalton I said thanks for giving up his wife for or his lady or his mama for 90 minutes. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right. Talk to you soon, Paige.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, Oakley. All right. Sevon's jaw must be sore from servicing Rich all week. What's that thing called under your tongue? The frenulum?
Under your tongue?
Yeah, that.
Oh, the thing that holds your tongue in there?
Yeah. It's very sore. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Something lum.
Lingual frenulum.
Frenulum. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Good job.
Sevon on his best behavior.
She's cool, though. I like her.
She's very cool. Man, she's cool. Has a baby at 22.
Dude, I can't imagine.
Giving me a panic attack.
I was so retarded at 22. I don't think I could have had a kid.
Dude.
I feel retarded now.
At 22, I was I was like at Tap Plastic. Do you know that store? Making bombs.
No.
It's just like a store, that just sells like plastic stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
At 22, I was like upset because like one of my woofers in the back of my car wasn't hitting right. 22.
Dude, I don't even know what I was doing.
Megan, I had 2 at 22. Oh my God.
Holy shit, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Were they twins?
Are you oh, you're going to work out? Oh, okay. Are you taking the boys with you? Oh. I started the show with a Two Brain Business affiliate commercial.
Oh,
Yeah, it was the pregnancy one. It was so apropos. It was the most professional thing I've done.
wow. You got a whole you got a real production going.
Yeah, and now I got you. Give me 90 seconds. I'll be right back.
When I opened my gym, I knew I was going to be training with the boys all the time. I was going to get jacked and just be lifting 24/7. Let me show you how it's really going.
Tobias, the toilet's clogged.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Tobias. Somebody needs help with their membership.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. Hey, Tobias.
Yeah? What's up?
I know I don't have my strict pull-up yet, but can you help me get a bar muscle up?
Yeah, sure. Let's go. Okay, it's 9 p.m., so if I get home, shower, eat, I can be in bed by 11, and then be back here at 4:15 a.m. Let's go. This is the 4th time today that I've had to clean shit off the toilet. You guys have to get a different pre-workout. I knew owning a gym, I'd get to buy all the cool equipment I want. Check out this awesome $700 table. Another person asking for a refund 3 weeks after their draft has come out. You know the cancellation policy, John. Oh, Carrie, 5 minutes late but had time for Starbucks again, huh? Thanks, Carrie.
I think that's actually Justin Timberlake.
Oh, that gym owner's Justin Timberlake. Ask Tyler Hansen.
Yeah. It makes sense though, because Justin Timberlake kind of he didn't do so well for himself. He kind of got in some trouble. So then he just died and rebranded himself as an affiliate owner.
I sent a picture to Tyler yesterday of John Wellborn and Sporty Beth, and I said, "Hey, is this the same person? Is this just Sporty Beth on Ozempic?" I'm so glad that guy's my friend. Now I can send him whatever. Like anytime I see something, I'm just like, "What about these two? What about these two?"
I don't know. I think I see it, dude. I think I see it.
Those guys tagged me in the Power Bottom Athletics tagged me in 3 posts yesterday.
Okay.
And the first post, it's like really small, right? It's like a whole book written in a story. And I blow it up and I just see something like we can't play football against each other. We should fight. Bring your crew to my gym and we'll fight. I'm like, what? No, thank you.
How do you make that connection? Hey, you're not going to be able to get into the NFL, so we're just going to fight each other instead.
Hey, part of me wants to be like, hey, fuck you, dude, I'll fight you, and just show up there. But like, what if he actually does like I'm okay if he just pushes me down and sits on me. But like, what if he really hurts me? What if he you know what I mean? I don't even know like if he could sit on me and it not hurt me. But what if he like pops my head off or something?
Dude, he's got no.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, hey, dude, I want to be like, hey, dude, how about tennis? Can we play tennis? And I'm gonna bring like 4 bodyguards, just in case you come to my side of the net.
Exactly.
And fight you.
That guy's a fucking nut job. He's got no governor on him. He's just gonna go, and you're like, dude, just chill.
What are you, retarded? The real Matthew, I'll go with you. I know. You know what's funny is, I do know a lot of. I was thinking, what if I just showed up like with 7 black belts? You know what I mean? Just like, okay, like was it in Game of Thrones? The midget picked someone to fight for him.
Yeah.
Get him.
That one.
And what if my friends go? What if I take like 7 black belts there and they see John? And they're like,
I don't know. I feel like most black belts are pretty
come on,
down to
dude.
fight.
Shut your pie hole.
You read that?
And then they tagged me 2 other times, and I'm just like, God, just stay out of my DMs, please. Please stay out of my fucking DMs. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to deal with power bottoms fucking athletics. You guys fucking are nuts.
It's all just peacocking. You ever see those videos of two dogs barking at each other between a fence, and then they open the fence and they just leave? They just stop and walk away.
Yeah, well, I don't want to take that risk. I don't want to go over there and fucking. That's why it would be kind of funny if what if I just rolled up like in a VW Bug, just got out of the car. I have like Ice Cube playing, gold chain. And I walk into Power Bottoms Athletics, and they're just like, I'm like, where's John? I'm in my long johns. Where's
That
this
would be
motherfucker? Where's this Ozempic motherfucker? Hey, and here's what's crazy. Andrew Hiller, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this. Andrew Hiller was seeked out by an NFL quarterback. Andrew Hiller trains an NFL quarterback who is just like, you can say whatever you want about him, but he walked on to the fucking Chicago Bears. He's the greatest fucking college quarterback that's ever fucking played if you go by most yards ever thrown in Division 1, 2, 3, anything. The guy plays under fucking Caleb Williams, and still the fans are like, this dude's better. This dude beat the fucking Heisman Trophy winner of the same year he won the Harlan Trophy in a fucking NFL football game. He's arguably the most demanding position in fucking football, and Andrew Hiller trains this guy. CrossFit. I would love to see if the Power Bottoms guys, how many CrossFit Games champions do you train? How about just that? How about we don't fight you? And you just look at the training, you stay focused on the subject, and it's the training methodology. I mean, everything that they're saying is just crazy. Like, hey, dude, just chill. You obviously went to your account. You have fucking horrible engagement. You obviously invoke Greg's name to get engagement. That's cool. A lot of people respect you. That's cool. I've actually never heard anyone say anything bad about CrossFit football. People think it's fucking great, but don't be stupid. How about we do a frisbee throwing contest or something? Jesus Christ. Like, let the facts, how about I arm wrestle you? I don't know. That still might be, what if he still might break my fucking hand.
I love at the end of that message, he goes, oh, make sure you bring GG with you too.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah. Can't wait.
Like, he gives a fuck about you, dude.
How about I come over there and we start an OnlyFans account? Can you post a link to that last commercial? I don't know if that commercial is the comedy one, Justin. Yeah, if it would be me challenging him to a YouTube editing competition. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
Someone told me he's going to bring Rob Wolf to beat me up. No, thank you.
You guys should just do a breath hold contest.
I like that. Power bottom means they ride dick really hard. Yeah, that's correct. Power bottom athletics. I don't want to have a power bottom competition either.
You don't want to see how well you can ride each other's dicks.
When John Wellborn entered the games, it was really cool. It's another thing. He said he played in the NFL for 10 years. I think he actually played more in the NFL. I thought he played like 14 years. And I think he was really good. Like in a sport that's really fucking hard. There's no doubt. I don't mean to just because we have a personality maybe conflict. I don't
didn't he get
and he's got all the street cred he needs. He doesn't need to act like a fucking ding dong. And he was a man. He was a man with like this tremendous like bravado, and he knew that he had no chance of doing well at the games because of his size and his time domain that he worked out in. Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, he got busted for steroids. Yeah, I don't judge him for that. He has to. You better do steroids if you're going in the NFL. Wellborn, 29, recently lost his appeal and will begin serving suspension immediately. See, so him and Andrew could be friends.
Yeah. Basically the same.
Yeah, same. I had no idea. I
Maybe
didn't know
Hiller
that.
and him are the same person. It's just Hiller created another Instagram account, and now he's just arguing with himself like he does sometimes.
Anyway, he had tremendous bravado and yet this fucking crazy humility to bring his shit to the games. I mean, it was I really enjoyed watching him do his thing. It was like watching I love watching people move, and watching him do his thing was crazy. It was really cool. I really don't want to fight with him. I don't want to fight with him on the internet. I don't want to fight with him in real life. I definitely don't want to fight with him in real life. But like, come on, dude. Those guys are wild. I think he lives near where I'm at right now. At least he used to. He used to live down here in Newport Beach. He had a really cool place. When I filmed Every Second Counts, I wonder if he still owns that place in Newport Beach. Did he move to Texas? Do you know where he lives?
John Wellborn?
Yeah, I hope it's far away.
Let's see.
Hey, two-time
Torrance, California.
Oh, great. I'm leaving tomorrow. Leaving town tomorrow. Give me till tomorrow. When yesterday I saw I tagged this guy Tynan Dalpra. Many consider him like in his weight class the best black belt around right now.
Just kidding. He's in Texas.
Oh, good. He it made me. Oh, here's hold on. Someone's I don't know if my phone's working. I don't know what's going on with my phone. I don't know what's going on with my phone. Hold on.
You there?
Yeah, kind of. I'm kind of here. Hold on. I'm trying to hook you up. My roadcast. I run such a Mickey Mouse operation here. Hold on. Bluetooth. Roadcaster Pro 2. Let me see if I can hook you up. Actually, hook you up to the Roadcaster. Nope. Okay, go ahead.
Can you imagine the type of like douchery that they would come across as by challenging you to a jiu-jitsu role, considering that you've been to all these jiu-jitsu gyms and how your kids do, you've been to tournaments? That's totally not the way the jiu-jitsu world works.
Well, dude,
You're saying, let's go, come to our gym and we'll fight. What a fucking turd.
Well, another thing I was wondering about is he was bragging about training special forces. And I was thinking, wow, that's the kind of thing that will get you to lose your job. I don't think when you're training special forces, you're supposed to be bragging about that. I think that can be a quick way to lose your contract. I don't think that's something special forces wants done. So he's in his own world.
So fucking like.
He's in his own world. And what's funny is I clicked on a couple of the accounts that were like talking shit, and all their the two accounts I clicked on were both private. And it's like, okay.
There's this guy that comes to my gym. He's from Virginia, and total Navy SEAL, all-American lacrosse player, the big shit,
Yeah.
He comes in and he just does his own thing in the corner, doesn't talk to anyone. Really, really fucking cool dude, but you would never guess he was an active Navy SEAL and just dropping into a CrossFit gym. He kills the workouts all the time. You'd never know.
Well, tell him that he should move to Power Bottom Athletics if he really wants to get his shit right. All right. Good to hear from you, brother.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. That's a bummer. The Roadcaster's not working. It's the one thing that makes me feel cool.
Did you see Bill Murray went on Joe Rogan's podcast? It's like
Recently?
It's like the first podcast he's ever been on, and he didn't know how it worked. So he just there's a clip of him just asking Joe, like, "Oh, is this live? Are we live right now?" He's like, "No, this comes out tomorrow." He's like, "Oh, so where's the phone? Where do you call? Like, where do you guys take phone callers? What's up?" And then he gets up and starts pointing at the screen, and like you can't even hear him, and he's just talking from over here. He's like, "Well, that's a blah," and then Joe's like, "Nobody can hear you, Bill." Like, and he's like, "Oh, what? No, okay," and then he just goes back to his seat, and it's so fucking silly.
Did you that documentary on Bill Murray is absolutely amazing. Did you see it? Have you heard about it?
No.
Type in Bill Murray documentary. It's basically about Bill Murray sightings. And Bill Murray would just like, there's all these people who have these stories where Bill Murray would just be walking by your house and come into your house and like sit down and have dinner with you, or start doing your dishes, or like sit down with you at a dinner table. It's a trip, dude. He's a trip. And people are like, he's the nicest guy ever. And like just taking pictures with everyone, but just chilling, you know?
Yeah.
Sit around the coffee table taking bong rips. Like, it's so crazy. The documentary's so crazy. It's so funny. It's so good. It's like looking for Bill Murray. It's
the Bill Murray stories, live lessons learned from a mythical man, full documentary. Okay. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Okay, I'll watch it. I like him. He's funny.
Yeah, it's so it's like that weird character that he is in movies, he actually is in real life.
I love that. That's cool.
Oh man, I took a break. Listen, I got to take another break. I got to pee again. I got to pee. Okay, the last one was to talk to my wife. Now I got to pee. Sorry. Okay, try this. Wait, let me see. What's this one? Let's do this one. This one's easy. To appease the foreigners.
No tengo más opción que tirarme al suelo. Lo he dado todo. Esto no me asusta. He pasado por esto antes. Como en el primer entrenamiento, varios años atrás. Mi coach ha sabido cómo exigirme. A veces más, a veces menos. Mis compañeros de clase pasan por lo mismo. Nunca pensé que a mis 44 años podría hacer esto. Y lo voy a seguir haciendo hasta que mi cuerpo ya no pueda.
Hey, I'm going to invite Luca on my podcast.
Oh. Really?
Yeah. Hey, Luca. I'd love to have you on the podcast.
Why?
I think it'll be a good practice for me to shut the fuck up and just listen.
Okay.
You know what I mean? What do you think the chances of him coming on?
Pretty slim, probably.
I'm 50-50.
Okay.
I think I'm 50-50.
I like those odds better than the ones I created in my head.
I just sent him a DM.
Okay.
Let's see how it goes. Yeah, maybe he'll be cool. Like, hey, fuck off. Or maybe he'll be like, uh, 60-40. Wow, that's pretty good. Ken Walters, 0.
Hey, anything can happen.
Ask Medeiros too. I've asked Justin to be on a few times in the last year. I like Justin.
Yeah.
Shit's gotten weird, but I like him. I'll be patient till he works through his stuff. I do have my favorite athlete. Everyone knows who it is. It's Colton.
Oh.
You know, Colton's one of those guys that like sometimes I'll be watching a UFC fight. My kid will be like, "Who do you want to win?" And I'm like, "I don't care." And then the fight starts, and then then all of a sudden I know. Do you know what I mean? by that. Like, I don't think I care, but then all of a sudden when they're fighting, I see myself rooting for a guy
Oh, yeah.
that I wasn't sure that I was rooting for. Like, I thought I didn't care who won the game between Kansas and Philly, but when the game started, I wanted Philly to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't know. And I don't even think I'm fully in touch with how, like, I think Colton's so cool. And then every time I see him make a post or something, I get, or like on the screen working out or something, I even get even more excited. I don't even think I understand the breadth of how cool he is.
Yeah, I didn't think I mean, I like them, but I didn't realize that I really felt attached to them until their post about Otis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was pretty broken up about that. I don't like I've never met Otis, but I know that Otis, if it were me and that was my dog, and they're like so attached to them, and I know Colton puts in all that work to build the kennel and the barn and give them everything that they need, and just to hear that, you're just wrecked.
Yeah, that dog was young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I am so out of touch with the depth of insecurity that people have. And there's so many times I realize that I'm like, every day there's like 100 times where I'm like, wow, I'm so out of touch. Wow, I'm so out of touch. Like, I can't even fathom things that people do. This one really is mind-boggling. Noses can be made smaller, breasts can be made bigger, and legs longer. Here's the brutal procedure.
Dude, what?
Wait till you hear this story. The high schooler's 5'7" stature, 2 inches below the average man in America, consumed his thoughts. An ex-girlfriend told Mattern she was glad they were breaking up because he was short.
Oh, God.
He wore shoes to make him taller at prom last year. He grew so depressed over his height, he became suicidal.
Wow. Well, that would have gotten rid of all the short guys, so that would be helpful at least.
Guys and dogs dying, they cry more than breakups.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He lives among tall people in a state that embraces its towering basketball players and that wants a home to the world's tallest woman. I mean, this article is, the LA Times
What
is
does that
so
even mean, dude?
dramatic. Who knows? I just started getting really insecure and comparing myself with people around me. Dude, move to a country where everyone's short before you get your legs extended, dude. It really started getting into my head.
Jesus Christ.
And that's how the 18-year-old ended up on a Las Vegas operating table in December.
Dude.
A chisel-like surgical tool called an osteotome wedge. Osteotome. Do you know what that is? Or you just know how to say medical words?
I just know how to say medical words. Yeah, that's not fun to. It's like a chisel, like a medical chisel.
So it's just a really expensive tool you get at Home Depot, but it comes, what's that called when they clean something?
Sterilized.
It comes in a sterilized plastic bag. That's always funny when you see surgical tools that are just Home Depot tools, but sterilized, and they're like 50 grand.
Yes, exactly. You have a medical supplies rep that just comes in and he's like, "Would you like these things?" And you're like, "I don't know."
Kenneth, osteo means bone. Thank you, Mr. Latin. Solid.
Wow,
osteo, how do you say it again, Caleb?
Osteotome.
Osteotome wedged into his femur is Dr. Kevin DeBedpershard whacked it with a mallet. Yep, there's the Home Depot part. This is the art of getting taller. It cost $100,000. What might seem crazy to some, cosmetic leg lengthening is a growing business. His patients have included tech bros, finance guys, media influencers, athletes, actors, and known musicians.
Fuck, dude. It's so not worth it.
Dude, listen, people. It's okay. Everything's okay. No one even cares. It's like going to a CrossFit gym and after 5 minutes, after 30 seconds after the workout starts, no one cares.
Exactly. Nobody cares.
Male height has long been a fixation in society. Yes, it's just part of life. Listen to this. The LA Times is just such scumbags. Even academic studies and research pointed to some potential benefits. Extra height for men in particular, including higher pay, more career success, and greater productivity.
That's retarded.
So what? Hey, listen, all the D-bags I know, like 99% of them are the tall, good-looking guy in high school, and he ends up no one liking him. He never has an intimate. It's called tall man syndrome. They had everything handed to them, and they have the thinnest skin possible by the time they're 22, and they can't make it in the real world.
I take offense to
that. Everything balances out.
Facts. Yeah.
Listen, if you're 5'5", you're not going to the bar and getting chicks at the bar. That's just not your place where that's not your mating strategy. You just have to have a different mating strategy.
That's true.
And having surgery. Thank you, Caleb, for your confirmation. Having surgery is not going to change that, making you 2 inches taller.
You know how easy it is to spot tall people, like in a bar. They stick out like sore thumbs.
Yeah, it's the guy with 5 girls around him.
Exactly. And not talking to a single one of them because they're socially inept.
He confided in his mother that he'd grown depressed. Hey, it's not going to go away because you get taller. You can't fix anything you're not fixing anything on the outside.
It's like thinking if you chop off your penis, you're going to be more secure.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Paige even said it. You know, she looks at old photos of herself and she's like, wow, my body was crazy. But she didn't even get to enjoy it because she was still critical of it when it was crazy.
Yeah, right.
It's like, dude, it's not going away. Great. Yeah. Yeah, she looks better than she's ever looked, in my opinion. Man. And you know the thing that I hear from parents with all the tall kids, you know, being a tall kid is not easy either because you're 4 years old and everyone treats you like you're 7.
Yeah. I remember that when I was growing up all the time. They were like, "Oh wow," I'd be like 10. You're like, "Oh, you look like you're 17." Like,
Yeah, and the pressure's crazy, right? I see people treating 4-year-olds like 7-year-olds, and the pressure's horrible on them. It's crazy because they're just goofy retards still, but the demands on them are so high they don't even get to be a kid anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, dude, just stick it out. It's gonna go away. You get older, you work on it.
You stop caring about a lot of shit.
Can't surgically repair mental health except for tits.
That's how you get a boob job in the military. You just tell them that like you are it's causing like distress on your mental health, and you get like one free like what do they call them, like surgeries just for yourself. And like elective surgeries kind of thing, because you get like LASIK and shit. And so then chicks will be like, "Oh, I have poor mental health. I need a boob job." So the military pays for a boob job.
And does everyone know?
Know what? Like that they do it? Or
yeah, like are you at the coffee machine and Paul, Mark, and John are like, "Hey, dude, Sarah got new tits."
Yeah, I used to work with another tech she joined the military and got a boob job. She had a kid at like 18 and her shit was all saggy and she didn't like it. And so she went joined the military and got a free boob job.
Could you get just crazy huge ones?
Hers were crazy huge. So wow. Yeah, probably.
Sandy did it. Oh, that's what the military paid for my. Oh,
nice.
I wasn't a tall kid. I was only 5'5", age 12. I finally reached adult height at 16. Adult height, asshole. I remember there was this place by my house called Malibu Grand Prix, and they had these race cars that you could drive, out on a track, and you had to be 4'4". And I would go there, ride my bikes there every day after school with my friends. Guess who couldn't drive the cars?
You.
Me. They were like kids 2 years younger than me driving the car. I was bummed. I was never bummed I was short. I was just bummed that I couldn't drive the cars.
Right.
Just is what it is.
I will say on the opposite end of that, the Disney World used to have like an exotic race car experience thing where you could drive like Lamborghinis or Ferraris or whatever, some crazy nice sports cars. And
please tell me you're too tall. Please tell me.
I was not. My father-in-law was. He's like 6'6", and he couldn't fit into any of them.
Yeah,
like
fuck
this.
you.
So I was like, oh, that's kind of sad, You get all excited to drive like an Audi R8 or a Ferrari, and you're like, I can't even fit in this fucking thing. It's like being Shaq.
And there are fighter jets like that too. Can super tall dudes could you fly F-35 if you're 6'6"?
I think 6'6" is like the limit.
Okay.
That's still tall. There's a height. There's like a upper and a lower limit for both of them.
And you can't, and no matter what, you can't be a horse jockey if you're tall. Like there's no exception.
I'm never gonna ride a horse for speed.
That's what I did. The military paid for my tits. Oh, I didn't know that. So your Fs were purchased. I didn't realize that. Okay, well, that's different. Then I understand getting a reduction if you went from. I didn't know you served, Standy. Respect.
Yeah. Thank you for your service, Standy. I'm just proud to be protected by women like you. So
I was 6 feet in the 6th grade. They thought I was the teacher.
Holy shit, dude!
I would have thought you were a jungle gym. I would have been with you. Holy cow!
They're like, "Oh, you're the sub? Cool, thanks."
I remember all the really tall girls in high school. They were cool. Yeah, that leg surgery is that's some deep seated listen, you don't want to have surgery no matter what on anything. You don't want to have a deviated septum, a hangnail. You never want to go to the doctor. If anything about your mental health requires you to go to a doctor, do everything in your power not to do it before you do it, especially if it involves a chisel from Home Depot.
Yeah, fuck that.
I flew a jet and the instructor was worried my head would hit the canopy before the glass breaker. Wow.
Damn. Yeah, your head was probably sitting over the top of the ejection seat.
I saw something really interesting yesterday. Do you know who Matt Taibbi is?
No, I don't know.
Matt Taibbi. He was the guy, him and Michael Schellenberg did the Twitter files. They're the ones that got access to the Twitter files, and they showed that, the FBI was spending, $6 million a year to have people working at Twitter or something crazy like that. And they were basically, the FBI was running Twitter.
Okay.
And Michael Schellenberg ran for the governor of, he's a Democrat. He ran for the governor of California. Really cool dude. Really solid journalist. They're both Democrats. Taibbi, what's his name? Taibbi. Yeah.
Matt Taibbi.
Anyway, I heard him breaking down the Ukraine conflict yesterday and what happened at the White House, and it was fascinating, his take on it. He basically said that the war that Russia had with Ukraine was a proxy war with the United States. And it was basically us. We were at war with Russia, and that's what that was. And don't get it confused at all. And he basically explains why it was that, and how it was that, and how it happened.
Why does he say that it was that?
Because basically the $350 billion we spent, and basically there's this imperialism movement, the Klaus Schwab, the one world order movement, and the European Union is already, that's what the European Union is. It's basically just a consolidation of all the European countries into one, and that was like one of the first steps. Let's get all of them together. Then with the WHO, they wanted to control the United States medically. That will get the United States starting to be on board, and then NATO, and basically they wanted to basically bring all the countries under one leader, and then Russia and China would be the outliers, right? Because they're nationalistic countries. They believe in their countries. Russia, China, right? And all the other countries were going to fall under this Klaus Schwab. You'll have nothing and love it. These are my interpretations of what he said in this video. I'll put a link in there, and you can interpret it, because it's a really quick explanation. But as he was making these claims, I was like bringing what I know. And basically, it was to get one world order. And basically, for the last 80 years, the United States has been subsidizing all of Europe. So basically, to our demise, we've been subsidizing all of these other countries out there to put us under one imperialistic order. And then basically, do you have thoughts on that about the being the U.S. was fighting Russia, but as using Ukraine as a proxy?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I agree.
Okay.
Because I mean, we spent so much money on it, and not only did we spend money on it, we sent them a pretty substantial amount of weaponry, like mostly newer stuff. And so we've just been playing out like a ground war by sending them most anything that they would need to fight off Russia. I don't know about the whole one world order thing. I haven't really looked too much into that, but
well, the WHO, the United Nations, is basically trying to bring everyone together under the WHO and under NATO. Like, hey, have all medical stuff delivered from the WHO, like all the rules around medicine, pandemics, and all that. And then NATO's trying to bring all the armies together under one umbrella. And then you know about Klaus Schwab,
right?
And Davos. And that climate change was the fucking hammer that they were going to beat us all under one earth.
Right. Yeah. I do know that stuff. I think that after the meeting with Zelensky and Trump and JD Vance the other day, I think there was like pushback on trying to prevent all that from happening. But
yeah, exactly.
I think Biden's idea from the start was to like allow all that to happen. Like, yeah, we're just all
the open borders, all the open borders going on all over Europe.
Right.
So then basically, and I know that's a lot to swallow, and you don't have to accept that premise. I'm not trying to convince anyone. I'm just trying to share with you this idea that this guy had. And then basically, so then Trump comes into power, and he's like, "Fuck you. We're not doing any of the imperialism shit. We're not doing any one world order shit." And he's thrown everything into fucking chaos. All the countries are like in fucking panic, right? All the leaders, right?
Right.
And he's like, America first. We're no longer going to subsidize with these huge trade deficits all of these other countries.
Right.
And he put that deal out to the Ukraine being like, hey, we'll plant fucking huge business in Ukraine, and Russia will never fuck with you guys again. And basically Putin has known all of this is going on. And so this is his perspective too, that, hey, it's Russia against this new one world order shit.
Right.
So Zelensky's like, okay, I'll do it. That's a great deal. And as he was flying over to the United States to sign the deal, the European Union put a quick offer together for him that countered the US's offer. They're like, don't accept the offer with the US, accept the offer with the European Union. We will invest shitloads of money into Ukraine to mine all those minerals. So they see this fucking clever idea that Trump comes up with, and then they tried to counter it with an offer.
Okay.
And then so he gets there, and Trump and Vance think that, hey, it's going to go this way. But Zelensky thinks he has some wiggle room to now play the two bidders against each other.
He thinks that he has leverage now.
Yeah. And in that meeting is where he played that card.
You can see Marco Rubio on the side, just like, fuck.
Yeah. And if you watch the whole thing, and if you watch it really slow and you take commentary on it, they start showing you where Zelensky's like taking deep breaths, rolling his eyes. Even one time he says something like, "That's fucking wrong" in Ukrainian, and someone translates it. And he starts pushing back. And I thought what's really weird is I was watching CNN and MSNBC, and they were even defending Trump. They were like, "Hey, we don't like the way Trump handled this, but Zelensky fucking shit the pot." Even the Democrats are like, "Whoa, what the fuck did he just do?"
Yeah.
And so you have the basically the European Union and all the leaders there. They're fucking completely freaking out now because we have someone in the United States who is subsidizing the whole one world order for the last fucking 80 years, and we saw huge movements on it in the last 4 years, obviously under Biden. That it's falling apart. That Trump's going to absolutely fuck it up. You know what I saw a headline today? That Home Depot's value is greater than any company's value that's started in Europe in the last 50 years. Just Home Depot's.
Oh my God.
That's crazy, right? Just Home Depot.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And of course Ireland is completely freaking out because they're a tax haven for hundreds of billions of dollars for US companies, especially Apple. And now, and Trump's going to open it up and he's going to let everyone come home. Daddy's here. He's going to so Obama wasn't letting people bring their money back in without the U.S. government taking a huge chunk of it.
Right.
And Trump's basically saying, hey, that $500 billion you have in the bank, I'll let you bring it home tax free. All you have to do is invest it in the U.S.
Yeah.
And their shit is, all those countries are just unraveling. And Germany, for the first time in our lifetime, Germany's economy is in a fucking tailspin. Their whole society's in a fucking tailspin.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, the Germans usually keep it pretty tight.
Yeah, their whole shit is just their shit's unraveling.
Yeah. I mean, Trump, he makes a good point when he starts talking to like this war is basically it's a Europe problem. Like, we can't just continue to throw our own shit at it all the time. Like we just got out of a 20-year war ourselves, and we lost a fuckload of people, and we spent a shitload of money, and we don't have the resources to do that anymore. And it's like, I understand, like, Russia is Russia, and we don't want to do that shit. But I mean, you guys got to throw some bones their way too. Otherwise, you're all fucked too. We can't just hold the brunt of it all the time.
I wouldn't say the first time in Germany's society. No, the first time in my lifetime, I said. And David, you fucking asshole. You fucking asshole. Sevan gets all his news from Fox. I just told you, you fucking dipshit. I mentioned CNN, MSNBC, and 2 fucking Democrat reporters, you cunt. Okay, take care of that. Europe is and Sweden. Did you see Sweden? In 2024, Sweden, dude, had 349 bombings. Do you know about no-go zones? Have you heard about that? No-go zones? Sweden has no-go zones, 61 of them. They're where police don't go.
Oh.
They have areas in their country where the police don't go. Sounds like Ferguson. Yeah. In Sweden. That's bullshit. That was a trigger. That was a 9 out of 10. You're a fucking idiot, dude. I'm going to throw my computer across the room to end the show today. I get a fucking 10 out of 10.
I thought Sweden was cool.
Yeah, it's completely... Dude, last month, the president said we've lost control of the country. The president.
It's pretty bad. That's pretty fucking bad. We got some no-go zones in the United States, right? San Francisco, Chicago.
Well, there's
Seattle.
Police there. They're just not doing their jobs.
Oh, okay. We just know as a species not to go to those places.
Police don't go to robberies under $1,000 where you live.
What the fuck?
You just checkmated my ass. Sweden sounds like California.
Yeah, shit.
All right. Hey, what do you think about those? What do you think about all these videos I'm seeing? My algorithm throwing me all these videos where it shows Ukrainian soldiers traveling on the streets of Ukraine and grabbing men off the street and forcing them into conscription, forcing them to serve. Have you seen these videos? My algorithm is now full of them.
No, but I'm not surprised that they're doing that. They
show vans pull up, 4 dudes get out and they grab it. The one I saw yesterday, they grab a dude, he's with his dog, and they throw him in the van and then they just leave. And the dog's just sitting there. And then the van drives off and the dog chases the van. And they're like, that's how they're getting this. And what's interesting is Trump did say to Zelensky, hey, I know you're having problems with conscription. Is that the word?
Conscription, yep.
That means people signing up for the military?
Yep.
Conscription.
I mean, think about it. We haven't seen this.
Oh, that is the practice of forcing people to join the military. Sorry, go ahead.
We haven't seen a war like this since World War II, where you're.
Like what?
I mean, I guess you kind of had it in Vietnam, where you have people who are just fighting in trenches, and it's just completely guerrilla warfare. You have to. It's just a battle of attrition just to gain any sort of foothold on ground, and everything's just there's nowhere to hide anymore except for in a trench, and so you're just fucking people clearing trenches just left and right. You have to run across a field and then you try to fucking shoot your way through the trenches and then try to hold on to that until somebody else comes in. There was a video of a guy, there's like literal hand-to-hand combat going on. There was like a Russian guy and a Ukrainian dude they met each other one-on-one in this abandoned building, and they just fought each other to the death with a knife. And one of them ends up losing. Like, that's the kind of warfare that they're experiencing in Ukraine. And so when you have that on such a large scale across just like a pretty significant span of land, like you're losing thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of troops. And then when they start using drones, like it's a cheap way to drop ordnance and create fear and just fuck with people. It's brutal. It is absolutely brutal.
Since Russia won World War II by throwing 10 million peasants on the front line, is that how it went down?
Exactly. You just send as many people as you can to the front line, and you say, "Fight this war," and then they just keep going, and then more people die, and you send more people, and more people die, and you send more people. I mean, in Russia, they don't have a choice.
Caleb got that from Saving Private Ryan.
I mean, it happened there too, but this is happening in Ukraine, left and right, dude.
Man,
it's also crazy that, I mean, all of them are wearing GoPros these days, so there's video all over the place of what's going on. And it's just a live stream of war. Nobody's ever been this connected to a war, even when we were in Afghanistan and Iraq. Those are like home movies on shitty camcorders. But now you have people strapped up with GoPros and DJI drones, and they're flying them around and recording everything. And I mean, not only is it like it's a war of attrition, but it's also like an info war where you're just using all of the videos and media that you can create to show how good you are at war, or like how well the Ukrainians are doing, or how well the Russians are doing. Because you go to any Telegram and the Russians are going to tell you, "Oh, we're winning this war, we're killing the Ukrainians." And then you go look at the Ukrainian Telegram, the Ukrainian one tells them like, "Oh yeah, we're winning." And so
that's like the Hamas footage that now is coming out. The Hamas guys who were burning the live babies in people's ovens in their house. That footage is now coming out.
Right.
Because even those dudes were wearing GoPros.
Yeah. I mean, it's horrifying what they're doing.
Hey, what is the Undersecretary of the United States Navy? Do you know what that position is? Like, is that a big position?
Mm-hmm. It's like the second in command of the Navy. I think it's Is
it a general? So it's like a 5-star general?
No, it's a civilian position. So like there's the Secretary of the Navy and then there's the Undersecretary. I think it's the same for like all of the branches. But
Does
it's
the
a civilian.
Secretary of the Navy report to Pete Hegseth?
Yes. Yes.
And his title is what? What was Hegseth's title?
He's the Secretary of Defense.
Secretary of Defense. Secretary of Defense reports to the president, and then the Secretary of the branches report to Hegseth.
Correct.
And then so the undersecretary is a pretty big position of the Navy.
Correct. Yep.
Did you see this guy who's the new undersecretary?
He's like a Chinese immigrant.
Yeah, this is a crazy story.
If this is the video I'm thinking of, this is really funny because there's a part in it that I can relate to. Go ahead.
Okay, this is amazing. Meet Hung Chow, our new Undersecretary of the United States Navy.
This is the scariest sound you will hear when you live in a communist country. This is the last sound my parents heard when their fathers were taken away in the middle of the night, and they never saw their loved ones again. That's the sound of losing your freedom, the sound of always living in fear. That's my family's real life story. We escaped from Vietnam just days before Saigon fell to the communists. We were given a new life in the most generous country on earth. America saved my life. I graduated from the United States Naval Academy. I earned a master's in physics and fellowships at MIT and Harvard before the left replaced merit with racial quotas. I spent my life trying to repay my debt to America, my country, our country, with 25 years of service in Navy Special Operations, combat in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Somalia.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's super cool.
And that's who you want in charge, right? A guy who saw a lot of dudes die and seen a lot of combat, so he has like understanding, but also compassion and like the cost.
Right. If you don't have that, then people will they don't see it the same way. They'll just keep throwing resources at it. But if you have somebody who understands like what happened in Afghanistan when we tried to pull out, or like what happened in Afghanistan for the 19 years prior to that, like then you have somebody you can reason with, somebody who can like weigh the options in a better way. Yeah.
Hey, Mr. President, this is going to be really bloody, and there's going to be some gruesome killing.
Yeah. And I think Trump understands that too. Of all the civilian leadership that we've had, I think he's understood it better than anybody, or as good as anybody, not better than anybody, as good as anybody else. Which is it's kind of nice when you, as somebody in the military, to know that the people who are in charge of you, they don't want to just throw you out there like cannon fodder.
Do you notice a different vibe since he's president?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like there's a respect for the commander in chief that wasn't there before.
Yep. And there's just there's generally a greater desire to work. Like you want to do the job for that guy. You want to do the job for Pete. Like Pete, even just Pete Hegseth being the SecDef.
Yeah.
Everybody loves on that guy. Like he's gonna be on a plane and get 2 hours of sleep and wake up at 4 a.m. and PT with the boys. You know that guy's in it for the boys.
Yeah.
You know that. I mean, there's a video of, this is probably not great, but there's a video of him on a podium at a NATO conference, and he was like, he had like a highball glass of bourbon, and he like took a drink out of it, and they were like, it's like, all right, it's probably not great, but you know he's for the boys.
The dudes are down. Yeah. I saw him. I saw footage of him at Gitmo working out.
Yeah.
In the dark because it was so early in the morning. He was working out. He went to Gitmo. I guess we have 4,500 soldiers there in Cuba, and it showed him there working out in the morning.
Yeah.
And literally like working out with him. Like he's in like these goofy ass shorts, and they're just like, it looks like a CrossFit gym.
Right. And you just want to know that that guy's willing to put out the same effort that you are. I mean, I understand like people get to a point where you're like, oh, I'm old or whatever. But like, if you're a mill guy and you're in a position to be the highest leader other than the president of the military, you got to show everybody, like you got to be a sled dog still. You got to be able to lead from the front. Otherwise you're Nobody really cares, dude.
Sevan, what would your hero WOD be? Assault bike while watching the UFC.
It would be a real hero WOD if it was assault bike while watching Sporty Beth videos.
Man, was she making fun of Froning shorts?
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy. I saw that in the text chat this morning. Is she fucking retarded?
She is certifiably. I can't believe she clinically. Yeah. I can't believe she was just so fucking up in arms about it. It's like, dude, that was the greatest open announcement since
Rocky 3.
Yeah, since Rocky 3, dude.
So good. Damn, Caleb, you're making me feel some things today.
Good, I guess.
Brandon Gomez, I'd bust a nut to Sporty Beth.
Oh God,
America.
Brother, please don't.
America.
You could
I wish you would have said. I wish you would have said on. I wish you would have said on. I should have read it the way I wanted to.
Oh God.
Sevon, did you watch Colton Merton's world record on 25.1? Follow the link in the stories. Oh, no shit. Oh, will you pull that up a second? I got to do one thing.
Yeah. Let's see. Where is it? Dun, dun, dun. Docs and videos. All right, here we go. World record. Visit link. Oh, oh my God. This is the link, huh? This is the link. I'm not gonna bring it up now. I'll just wait until he comes in, and then I'll show it to him, I guess. Kind of fucked up, Colton. He just loved on you. Just gave you so much love. And all right, are you ready? You ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell just one real quick story though before you pull it up. So last night, I don't want to get into too many details of it, but last night I was in this situation, and this dude, random dude, stranger, don't know him, never met him. I was by his front door with my kids, and he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna make it sound weirder than it was. It wasn't so weird. He basically said, "Hey, do you want to come in and have some elk stew?"
Okay.
And I'm like, "Oh no, thank you. We just had tri-tip. We just barbecued tri-tip here at Sarah's, the beach house we're staying at." And my kids are like, "We want to try elk stew." I'm thinking, I was like, "Yeah, but like, you can't just go into a stranger's house and like eat their elk stew. Just someone asks you, you know?"
Right. Yeah.
Kids like looking at me with his big old Jumenian, half Jew. You know, these Middle Eastern kids have huge eyes, some huge brown eyes with real long eyelashes. My kid looks up at me and goes, "I want to try elk stew." And I start like fucking saying stupid shit like, "Okay." So we go inside. A fucking amazing elk stew. We eat it. We hang out. Later on, I find out the guy last year made profit $400 million.
Oh
Coolest
my
dude.
God.
Yeah, coolest dude in the fucking world, just sitting in the kitchen with bowls, filling up bowls for me and my kids, eating elk stew, offering them cookies.
Doing what?
Newport Beach is it's a finance guy.
Oh my God, dude.
Like crazy.
What the hell? Hey, you want some elk stew? Yeah, I just made $400 million.
Maybe he owns. I know Pfizer. I know. Who knows? Who knows? I'm trying to just act cool and not like look too much into it. But like, I've been around wealthy people. But if you make 400 profit in a year, you're like you're like the fact that you're still normal. I mean, I would have never figured it out on my own.
Dude, if I make 400 mil, fuck you,
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's like you have a G4 in case your G5 breaks down.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I'm buying like a 50-footer RV. I'm selling this 22-footer.
Cinnamon Matuthian available yet? Not yet. We're working on the label. That's a good reminder. I'll tell the guy to hurry up with the label. Thank you for asking. Okay, Colt Mertens.
Oh yeah, okay.
25.1. Newport Beach is a trip, man. The welt here is like it's crazy.
I think Colton did his world record at Newport Beach too.
He was in California? Oh. No, not my workout. This is the one. Someone in the comments wrote, "Hey, if you watch this at 2x speed, it looks like a CrossFit workout." Hey, I thought I told everyone I got 171.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I got 150. Someone in the YouTube comments unfucked me.
Well, this is Colton's world record attempt.
That's what it says? What do you mean?
This is the link that he added to the picture on his.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not kidding, dude. I didn't know this.
What a... I was wondering, what's so funny? I woke up this morning, I was going through YouTube and I'm like, wow, why does this have 2,400 views?
It's got almost
7. That is fucking, oh shit. Oh, it's 7,000 views. Jesus criminy. What a douche.
Oh God.
Hey, did you see the video he made where he's old Colton?
I saw it. I didn't actually get a chance to watch it. Let me go.
Well, that looks like old Colton right there.
You walking on the beach. Oh my God.
25.1. Walk on the beach. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this one. Yeah, look at this. This thing is crazy.
4. And touch and go snatch at 265. You ever seen something like that?
What about the muscle ups, Grandpa?
Who told you about them damn muscle ups? Shit, thought I told you to stay off YouTube. Yeah.
What did he have? Cartman fucking talking to him? This is great. What about that muscle up, Grandpa?
That's what I look like on the beach. I look like old Colton. Hey, where does Colton get those pants? Where does he get pants that fit his ass and his quads?
I don't know. Those are probably Wranglers.
I wonder if Colton rips pants. I wonder if when he I wonder how many pants he's ripped. I wonder if he's had his ass just fall out of all sorts of shit.
What about the muscle up, Grandpa? Shit, that's funny, dude. Colton's funny. He's good. He's real good.
Oh, geez. That's funny, Jenny. I saw that post. I can't even read that. I don't even know what to do with that. It's hard when people are like coming after you because you're not sure like if you want to play with them or if it's just going to give them too much attention. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're like I mean, just think like Andrew knows that as much as fun as he's having, like a Sporty Beth, one of his characters and like reoccurring characters and his shit, he knows that like he's going to 10x any of the views on any of her videos, right? So she might make a video, might only get 300 views, but if Andrew talks about it, it's going to get 3,000 views. And so you kind of have to have the humility. Like, whereas if you fuck with Danny Spiegel, it's like nothing. Like, she's so massive on her own. Oh, Luca replied to me.
Oh,
but not directly. Like he posted it on his story. He said, "You have to be joking."
Oh man. Just fuck. Are you serious?
Yeah. I remember at the beginning of the show, I wrote, "Hey, Luke, I'd love to have you on my podcast." He says, "You have to be joking."
But he didn't respond to you. He just put it on his fucking story.
Well, I haven't looked at my DMs. Maybe he Oh no, he didn't respond to me. But he tagged me in it so like I can see it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Should I write back? Oh, sorry, I thought you were someone else.
Sorry,
yeah,
I thought I was DMing.
Should I write back? Yeah, I was joking.
You're right, I was. Have fun with your WTF bullshit.
No, I'm not joking, dude. Just come on, let's just talk. I'll just let you just go ahead. You can come on and just do your thing.
What a shitbag, dude.
I don't know. It is what it is.
Dude.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'll save my own opinions then. I'll let you.
You can have your opinions. I'm not. It's fine.
I have them. I got them.
Wouldn't it be amazing if he would though? I wish Chandler, Pat, and any of them would come talk. Yeah, I guess. Maybe I'm not in the. I don't know if I'm in the place to talk to those dudes, but
nah.
Let Hiller talk to them. I mean, I don't hate any of those dudes, but what really you think that was a douche move? I don't think that's a
I don't know why, but I just don't like that. You're just gonna it's like if a chick gets a DM from a dude that she doesn't really like, that she doesn't find attractive, so she just goes off to her little girlfriend group and then sends the screenshot and be like, "You got to be kidding me."
Oh, I would never go out
airs it out to everybody else and then just doesn't respond to the guy and just tells everybody yeah, fuck this guy, but we'll never address it specifically with that person.
I get that take, yeah. I just get it that he just has too much baggage right now still. You know what I mean? He's got too much
sure.
Whatever story he has going is still so fucking loud that he's not he thinks for some reason the story would be compromised if he came on here, or you know what I mean? What if he actually came on here and something actually got worked through and evolved?
Yeah, what if? That'd be insane.
Yeah, so I give yesterday I was pulling out of a supermarket parking lot here in town, and there were two people walking, and I had the right of way. I had pulled out before they had walked into the intersection, but it was a black woman and a black man, so I put it in reverse and lowered down my window, and I said, "Hey, sorry." And they're like, "Hey, no problem." It's because it's the little bit of racism that's left in me. You know what I mean? I got a little equity in me. You know what I mean? I don't want anyone. I don't want to be you know what I mean? I'm going the extra mile.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And there's other people, if you were on a bicycle, I would have done that too. Because I always feel if I'm in a car, it's easy for me to move, but bikes have momentum and shit. You know what I mean? Or if it would have been old people, I don't want to say it's just black people. There's other people I would have done it for, but for that specific reason, I do it for social reasons. I've told you guys this before. I just feel that I don't want them to. It's such an easy thing for me to do so that they don't build a story in their head. And I know that's me projecting on them, thinking that they're going to project onto me, but it's fine. I'm working through it. So, I feel that way about Luca too. Not to the point people, not the point invite him to the WTF if he's not good enough. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking about giving him some of the putting him high in the rankings because his brother died is just kind of crazy. But it's almost patronizing. It's actually kind of embarrassing for him. But I am
he doesn't see it that way.
You don't think he knows?
I think he does. I think he thinks he deserves that.
Oh well, but I do give him some.
And he doesn't.
I do give him some wiggle room. You know what I mean?
I get that.
Like if he throws a rock through a window, like I'm not like I judge him differently than if someone else does it. Someone else does it, I'm like, dude, what are you doing, you fucking idiot? But with him, it's like, hey, dude, his brother just died. It's like I get it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I give him some wiggle room. Yeah, I judge him less harshly on his shit.
I get that for sure.
Oh, maybe Luca's just being funny. Oh, I like that. Okay. How should I respond? What do you think I should say back then? What? Oh, should I do it publicly or just DM him? How about mostly serious? Or no, you have to be joking. Oh. Okay, I like that. I'll just say nope. Not joking. Nope, not joking.
Yeah, that works.
How about NNJ? Nope, not joking. Just NNJ.
No, that's not. Nobody gets that.
I just made it up, like WTF.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That doesn't work. It's like if you say BC, that's because everybody knows that's because. If you say NGL, not gonna lie, everybody knows NGL, not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, that.
Laugh my ass off.
How about FNL? I want to fucking kill people. I don't do Friday Night Lights. Like I have to stop and like every time I see that.
So when I said that the other day, you got mad. You don't like that?
Not mad, but I'm just like fucking. It frazzles me. Short circuits my shit. Even not gonna lie, NGL is like that one. I still have to process too.
Gee, God, you hurt.
SMH is one I still have to do. I only know LOL. I know LOL. Don't you think NGL? Don't you think NGL and FNL are just like in the last month have just taken a skyrocketing in trends of using?
NGL's been around for a really long time. Friday Night Lights has been around since the show came out. I think that's been.
Oh yeah, I know JK. Oh yeah, and there's one for Last Chance Qualifier too. Whatever that fucking acronym is. Like I want to punch someone in the face. What is it?
LCQ.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I like these two. JK.
My life is acronyms, so I just pick them up and I just use them.
BBC. I know that one. I know BDP.
Wow.
I know BDP too. Big Dick Pimp.
That's not one.
My friends, it is. BTW. I know that one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know this one.
You don't know that one?
No.
If you know, you know.
Oh, geez.
You've used that on your Instagram. I swear to God, you have.
No.
Oh, I swear. No way, dude.
No. I'm 100% certain because you know what I see there? I thought that was a zipper manufacturer.
Oh, IYK?
Yeah.
Or YYK?
Oh, I know this one. I've never used it, but I know this one. Caleb, don't even waste your time. You're never gonna find IYK.
Swear to God, it was recent. It was so recent.
If you find it, I'm gonna go get checked for Alzheimer's. Oh, I know DSLs.
All right, yeah, it's DSL's good.
Nope, not joking. I know that my new favorite one. I don't use it, but I like it. Is FOFA or FAFO.
Find out.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. I
know CAC.
I hate that one. Do you know?
You hate FA? You hate FAFO?
Not a huge fan of that one. Every time I see it, or I hear it, it's always some fucking stupid white trash guy with a jacked diesel truck and truck nuts hanging off the back end. That's when I see fuck around and find out or FAFO. That's what I hear, or that's what I see, and I just
hey, that's what I think about Let's Go. That Let's Go. When I see that, I throw it in the fuck around and find out category. How about this one? Do you know this one?
Nope, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Give bitches, I don't know that one. Get the fuck out.
I know this one. Oh, I know this one. I know ATM. ATM is a great one. It's a great one. Isn't that great? That one is great. I remember the first time I heard that. I learned that from Mill Guys.
That's where you learned it from.
Yeah, mill guys. They were talking one time. I'm like, what's that mean? ATM. They're like ass to mouth. I'm like, what is that? And he's like, put your dick in someone's ass and then you pull it out and put it in their mouth. I was like, oh, alrighty. Alrighty. I mean, I didn't even know once they said it for me.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked.
I learned airtight from mill guys too. Airtight.
Airtight's good. Oh, if this is what
That's
I think
like
it is, I think this is Star Wars.
Jeez. He really typed all that out.
That's a lot, yeah.
Airtight's what the 2003 Canadian junior hockey team did to an unconscious girl. That's the team Brooke Leachy was on. Catherine's husband.
Wow,
Airtight.
yeah, that's a good connection. I like that. Good.
Anywhere I can get it in. Oh, you learned wizard sleep from a mill guy. Did Kenneth teach me? Did you teach me that? Who taught me that? That's recent.
Wizard sleeve? Yeah, I think we looked up wizard sleeve on Urban Dictionary, and yeah, it's good. Very flappy or dangly lips. That's fucking crazy, dude.
All right. Thanks, dude. What is today? Sunday? Saturday? What is today?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh, yeah,
you just walked over here and looked at my eyes and said something. You said, "Where's my cartridges?" And then I looked at you and you said, "I'm not asking you." Oh, bust your ass.
So good.
All right. I'm going to go to the beach and play Frisbee.
I'm going to go do an open workout.
Oh, you are going to go do it?
Yeah.
All right. Have fun.
Thanks. A guy at the local affiliate said, he's a coach here. He DM'd me and said that whenever I'm down. And I was like, oh, perfect. Well, that's really helpful.
That's cool. He knows you're there from the show?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
he's
awesome.
I think he works at the base. So yeah.
Hey,
really
warm up good. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, I mean, I warmed up. I thought I warmed up good, and I was pretty happy. Like that was one. I mean, I don't know how that 50-pound dumbbell is for you, but like I did, I basically did 3 burpees, a couple lunges, and like one snatch on each arm on the minute for like 10 minutes. Like I got warm, and I kept a sweatshirt on, and and then I rested for a couple minutes and then went. But I mean, speaking from a 52-year-old man, that dumbbell gets like weird quick. It's not like snatching. Do you ever do hangs? I never do hang dumbbells. It's wild.
I haven't done them a lot recently, but usually anything from the hang's pretty good for me. The burpees is what's gonna be the worst, just because I'm so tall. The lunges I can probably get done pretty quick, just because I can take pretty long steps.
Did you watch my video?
Yeah.
I actually, when I did the burpees, I actually just laid down and then stood up. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I crawled down like a baby.
Yeah.
Like long as I was moving, I was happy. Like people are like, step back. I'm like, I'm just laying down. Like I'm getting in bed. And then I'm just going to stand back up. Yeah.
That's probably what I'm going to do. Because I don't think I can do like the whole jump back, jump up kind of thing. It's going to take some doing.
I actually rested on the burpees. It was crazy. I can't believe I'm saying that about a workout, but I actually rested on. I thought I was going to rest on the lunges. I rested on the burpees. Like I went so slow on them that I rested.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Exactly.
Okay.
Lunges. Oh, lunges were your rest. Okay. Yeah. Lunges were.
That's how I think that's how it'll be for me. The burpees are just gonna. I just not really. Pretty much a shitbag lately. So my cardio is not really there.
Why did you do it in the sand?
Why not?
Yeah. If you're saying why there was no, I thought that's the first time I've been to that beach where there was no hard packed sand. So that kind of went out the door. That's why I ended up having to do it on soft sand, but it wasn't bad. And it actually made jumping over the dumbbells easier, I think. Because when I set the dumbbell, I would just drop the dumbbell and then it would sink into the sand.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even like jumping over anything.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect.
I won't be so lucky, but
yeah, exactly. My burpees look like an old man getting off the floor. That's what I thought when I was doing them. You know what I mean? I was like, I felt like a baby, like a 2-year-old getting off the floor. Yeah, I couldn't. I don't know. Esteban actually RX plus this 7 lunges for each section. I couldn't have a tape measure, and I didn't want anyone to say it was short, so I just took like 5 of the biggest steps I could take.
Okay.
You know what I mean? To measure it out. So I think it was at least 15 feet. And then a few times I was so tired, I forgot, like if I would lunge, and then I would I think maybe would just take a step. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was on a walk. I was like, did you just take a step?
No. Good. Just a little shuffle.
Someone check out the Ty Watkins video I sent you on Instagram. Should have him back on again. Okay, who's Ty Watkins? Tyler Watkins? Ty Watkins? Okay, I'll look at it. All right, Caleb, thank you. Good luck, everyone. Have fun. Don't worry. The behind the scenes is going to come back. It's just give it a couple days, and both episode 1 and 2 will be out here in a second. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.